7-1 deficit in the ninth inning last night, falling just short of tying the score against Florida's closer. This afternoon, they look for John Lennon to be the stopper and turn the Marlins into fish out of water.
Washington Nationals baseball.
It's going to be a lively atmosphere at the ballpark today, camp day, and it's time to show these youngsters, Johnny Gomes in the lineup, what Nationals baseball is all about. We look forward to seeing Johnny with that bat in his hands today. Bob and Ray, welcome to a Thursday matinee. Ray, how much do you take out of that ninth inning last night? The guys finally got some hits. It was against a pitcher who's not one of their better back-of-the-bullpen guys, but against Leo Nunez, they almost got it done.
They certainly did. I take a lot out of it. The fact they keep playing hard. You always figure this team can break out any time, Bob. That's why in that seventh inning we talked about 9 outs. Zim hits the ball down that right field line, his third hit of the game. Aaron Morris drives the ball through the right side. Zim hustling all the way from second base. And then just a little sinker out away from Nix, moved to the end of his barrel. He hit that ball plenty with enough bat speed to carry that thing out of the park. It just got down the end of his bat and lost some of its steam. But we were hoping that they'd have a big comeback, just short of that thing by about 2 inches.
All right, and now John Lennon hoping for some run support today. John's been great. His last 2 starts, 12 innings, 8 hits. He's only given up 3 earned runs. A real turnaround from his first 10 starts this year.
Totally different pitcher. Just shows that he's going out there, and instead of thinking that he's going to do the job, it seems to me that his demeanor is he knows that he's going to get it done. When he walks somebody, it seems to be someone that he pitches around to get to another hitter, learning how to pitch, and he's been probably our most effective pitcher over the last 2 months.
21 starts, a record of 7-6. The bats have been lively in this series. 8 home runs, unfortunately, 6 of them by the Marlins and only 2 of them by the Nats. Both of these ball clubs now have hit 94 on the year, 7th in the league, and the ball could be carrying on this hot day. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, and by your local Lexus dealers. The Lexus Golden Sales Event now through September 6th at your Lexus dealer. From the Navy Yard Station up to Half Street and right down to the ballpark. Nice crowd gathering. A lot of kids here today. You'll hear some hooping and hollering and squealing during the ball game, and we hope the Nats give them plenty to squeal about. 92 degrees. Humidity is reasonable, and we invite you to visit Trane.com. That's TRANE.com for an independent Trane comfort specialist dealer near you. It's hard to stop a train. Marlins are hitting .249, ninth in the league. They've propelled themselves up to 8th in the league in runs because Emilio Bonifacio keeps getting on base. 25-game hitting streak with a base hit last night in the 8th inning. Second longest streak in baseball this year to Andre Ethier's 30 with the Dodgers. So John Lannon faces a good Florida hitting ball club. He's made 7 career starts against the Fish with a record of 2-3, ERA 5.35. Aggressive swinging ball club, Ray, and you have to be careful what you do early in the count. You throw get-ahead fastballs over, these guys will be raking.
Well, they're not up there taking. Eduardo Perez is their hitting coach. His daddy Tony, very aggressive mindset. You know, you don't walk off the island. So they swing the bats very aggressively. Bonifacio taking more pitches now per order of manager Jack McKeon.
And John Lannon's pitch almost unreachable for Ramos. We're underway at 12:36. And then John gets a strike on the outside corner, according to 13-year veteran Greg Gibson. Todd Titchener, Lance Barrett, Angel Hernandez, the bases. Lannon, and there's a line drive right to Ryan Zimmerman. John took a little bit off on the 83, and Bonifacio way out ahead of it. Zimmerman across from Morse. Desmond up the middle with Espinoza. The outfield has Johnny Gomes in left, and he was one of 3 Reds who shared that position this year. Hairston and Worth in the outfield, Ramos behind the plate. Johnny told me he shared left field with right-handed hitting Chris Heisey and left-handed hitting Freddie Lewis. And playing time was tough to get, and he said it was so awkward trying to root for your teammates, but at the same time wanting them to, and this is his words, mess up a little bit so you could get some playing time. Tough situation, and he's happy to be here in D.C. Here's Omar Infante hitting .266. Lannon just missing inside 1-1. Infante's on a nice little streak himself. A 6-gamer, 11 for 23, and he's 5 for 11 career against John Lannon. John's first breaking ball in the dirt. Not a bad place to put it, really.
Well, that's where he wants to put it. Get the feel early of getting that release point out front so that you don't hang the breaking balls, that you start it somewhere just above the knee and working down to the ground.
2-1 pitch in the air, right field. Jason Worth is back in the lineup today, and he's got an early touch for the second out. By the way, if you're wondering about balance and the Marlins against left-handed pitchers, you would think with guys like Ramirez and Stanton and Cameron and Helms in the lineup today, they'd really be raking against lefties. Their batting average against left-handers and right-handers, .249. They are an equal opportunity offense. And here's Logan Morrison. Now you've got to have some lefties who can hit lefties to hit almost .250 against left-handed pitchers. Morrison batting .254 overall.
John, should be a really good matchup for him, Bob. You mentioned the fact that this club is very aggressive swinging the bat, and John lives on throwing balls that appear to be strikes. That moves out of the strike zone, so should get a lot of swings at the hitter's top, off the end of the bat. He throws a lot of balls around the strike zone, but not very many in the middle of the strike zone, such as that pitch there that appears to be a strike down the heart of the plate and worked its way out of the strike zone with that crisp late break.
Yeah, that was a nice breaking ball. He's retired Morrison 6 of the 7 times they faced each other. And he becomes the first Nationals pitcher to have a 1-2-3 first inning in this series. Here come the Nats. T-shirts. Yellows and greens and pinks and oranges and red and blue. It's neat here at the ballpark today. Here's Johnny Gomes. We've talked about what he's done career against lefties, 281 overall, but since last year, nearly 300. A great right-handed bat to have in that national starting lineup packaged by the UPS store. We love logistics. So the Nats have him in the number 6 spot. A lot of righties in there today. In fact, everybody right-handed except for John Lannon. This is Brad Hand from Chaska, Minnesota, right outside Minneapolis. He's making his 6th major league start. He's 1-3 with a 2.77 ERA. He started 5 games for the Fish between June 7th and July 7th. And he's gone 6 innings a couple of times, Ray, and features a good 2.77 ERA. Yeah,
he has more walks and strikeouts, Bob. So like a lot of young pitchers, has a tough time getting settled in. He's had a little rough start his first couple of innings getting behind hitters. There he is, right down the middle with just a little 87-mile-an-hour fastball.
And he tops out at 88 or so,
right,
doesn't he?
That's what I was about to say, 88 miles an hour.
And he's got to get ahead with that fastball and then get people out with his off-speed stuff. If he falls behind and has to lay that heater in there, it's trouble. So the Nats have never seen him before. Probably have some tape on him from those 5 starts he made. And Hairston's 1 for 5 with an RBI.
One of the publications that I read this morning, I always buy the 4 publications that are either the fantasy leagues or scouting reports, and it had him as a tall, lanky left-hander that threw the ball around the plate with great poise, good move to first base, that topped out at 90, Bob. There's 90 there, with a big breaking ball and a lot of changeups, 2 different changeups, one that's a straight change that he kind of kills on top of the plate, and a screwball type change. This here just a fastball right over the top, 4-seamer, and he did hit 90 right there.
And, you know, you have to consider him highly regarded by the Marlins. Hey,
he wouldn't be here at 21 if he wasn't.
Yeah, ball club that has always been tuned into young pitching, and they took him in the 2nd round just 3 years ago. This is only his 4th professional season.
Only 350-plus minor league innings.
Espinosa bunts it in the air, and the pitcher catches it.
They must not have gotten that note about real good fielder.
Yeah, got off the mound pretty well for that one, and Danny Espinosa's 2 for his last 32. Nationals defense, or rather Marlins defense, Cameron flanked by Morrison and Stanton. Wes Helms gets the start at first base today. Across from Bonifacio, Ramirez, Infante up the middle, and John Buck out of the lineup for the first time with Brett Hayes behind the plate. Wes Helms, old reliable. He can play first or third at this stage of his career. Limited range, still a good solid bat off the bench and a spot start here and there.
And a consummate professional. A guy that not disruptive, positive, enough experience coming from the Atlanta Brave organization over to the Phillies, that he can just help your ball club by being around with that positive energy.
Ryan Zimmerman in this series 4 for 9 with an RBI. So he's hitting .319. Base hits in 14 of Ryan's last 17 games. That's a rocket, and that's a fair ball into the left field corner. Zimmerman 3 for 5 last night, so he's 4 for his last 6. And 6 for his last 8 going back to the first game of this series.
Oh, man, he's starting to get on time. A breaking ball that keeps coming in, but because he's not trying to kill the baseball, he just reacts with those quick hands and fires that barrel through the strike zone, double down the left field line. That's 5 out of 6 quality at bats that he's had in the last 2 nights.
So 15 of his last 18 games now, well over .320 for Zimmerman, whose batting average is approaching the mid-260 range. And here's Michael Morse. When I talked to a couple of the Florida broadcasters, our buddies Rich Waltz and Tommy Hutton this morning, they were concerned about this 4-man combo in the middle of the lineup. Zimmerman, Morse, Worth, and Gomes against their lefty. Let's see how Michael can do and keep this thing going. Worth back in the lineup today. Jason Worth right now could take 6 steps and be standing next to the umpire. That's how close he is.
And he's there for what reason,
To
Bob?
the back end of the batter's box. He's looking at the stuff and the rotation and everything else from this young pitcher who the Nats haven't seen before.
You know, you work your way right on behind the umpire if they'd let you, just because you then see the angle of the arm.
A ball and 2 strikes on the foul by Morris. Michael in the series, 3 hits, 3 RBIs, 324 runners in scoring position this year.
You know who was bad about that was Keith Hernandez. But the thing he would do, he would be there at the first pitch, because if you start there and then inch your way more, they see it and they're gone. He got out there about 10 feet behind there, about that C in the Geico, and got to see one pitch before the umpire would run him out of there. Then it got to where he would come to the on-deck circle, and the umpire would turn around and look at him and motion for him to move back before the pitch was even thrown.
2-2 now to Michael Morris. Zimmerman second base, 1 out. Pardon me, 2 outs. First inning. On the off-speed pitch, Michael goes reaching.
I'll tell you what, buddy. He's thrown 2 breaking balls, and both of them have been spinners. His changeup has been very good, dying and moving downward. His fastball, he's been able to spot it in and out, right at 88 to 90. But the 2 breaking balls, the one to Zim and that one there, were both balls that it should be hit hard. He got away with one there.
Off speed away, Michael swings at ball 3. Nats are gone in the first after a Zimmerman double. John Lennon's off to a good start. Tough hitters coming up.
Solid starts against Atlanta, LA, 2 wins against Atlanta. The breaking ball just biting unbelievably. He didn't lose that as he went out to LA. Picks exceptionally well out there on the 22nd. Same breaking ball, sharp bite, down and away, showing his fastball, using his changeup to keep people off speed, and then able to throw a fastball by a couple of hitters up in the strike zone because he had thrown so many breaking balls for strikes. Exceptional breaking ball, locating the ball very well, and just has not been hit around the ballpark at all in the last month and a half.
Tough customer here, Hanley Ramirez. There goes the bat, and it flies into the camera bay. Fortunately, not reaching the seats at the outfield end of the dugout. Hanley Ramirez in this series, 3 for 9 with a couple of RBIs, and he's 8 for 18 career. Hanley Ramirez right now is embroiled in a big-time controversy down in Florida. He was criticized on the radio by Mr. Marlin himself, Jeff Conine, who does some pregame work for the Marlins, pre- and postgame on their TV network, also works in the front office. And Conine's been critical of Ramirez. Hanley Ramirez answered by saying when I'm in the Hall of Fame, I'll be Mr. Marlin, not Jeff Conine. So he has himself in Cooperstown already.
No, just the fact that he referred to I and went to I think that's the only complaint with Hanley. He's such a great talent.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
He is always, someone has always said, and when you hear smoke, you know there's a fire there, boy, is that he is very concerned about Hanley. And old-time players like Jeff Conine, who are just the epitome of team players, like that guy that's seeking attention, that doesn't run after a ball that he kicked in left field, that causes a manager to get fired, that, you know, you have to baby all the time. I mean, he's a grown man. I don't know Hanley. I just watch him play sometimes and see him hit a fly ball and never get halfway to first base. And Jack McKeon benched him simply because of that. You know, that's why I would have a tough time managing nowadays, simply because I'm not going to put up with it. I bench him for 5 days. I can't stand a man that goes out there and doesn't give full effort all the time. He would be, in my estimation, if he had a guy like Desmond's attitude or Espinosa's, the best player in the game. I mean, he runs as well as anybody, has power, hits for average, devastating RBI man, plays shortstop, good arm. And the only thing he lacks is that bear down approach all the time, and also his tendency to get to work late. And that rubs off from the players, man. I'm telling you.
Hanley Ramirez hits one hard to left center, and there's the ability coming out. It'll one-hop the 377 mark, and there's a double leading off the second inning, and he's now 9 for 19 career against John Lannon. And anybody who knows anything at all about Jeff Conine knows he did not give himself the title of Mr. Marlin. That came from the fans and the organization.
Well, there's a good breaking ball. I mean, very good. He just got out away from him, so he sees it a little better and worked itself back to the middle of the plate. But there's no denying Hanley's ability, man. I mean, if I'm talking ability, he may be the first guy that I would pick in a draft if you threw everybody in that pod, because he can do it all. He can hit first, he can hit third, he can hit fourth. He can lead the league in stolen bases if he wanted to. I don't know that he couldn't lead the league in total bases.
And I have a feeling I know who your right fielder would be, too.
It might, yeah.
He's in the batter spots right now.
And he has a demeanor where he just goes about his business very quietly. There's nothing surly about Mike Stanton. But again, we're talking about what we've heard, not what we've seen. I know Hanley not at all, not trying to rag him. But when you have enough people saying the same thing about someone, like Jeff Conine, this is what I thought you were going to say. Jeff Conine could not be a sweeter man. He is not going to just say something just to say it.
Yeah.
He swallows words as opposed to saying it, but not unlike Matty Williams. Matty Williams is the same type guy.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and that's it on the hands of Stanton. And we were told by the Florida guys that a couple of years ago, Dan Uggla was really the first one who got in Hanley's face. His trade to Atlanta has nothing to do with that. In fact, they thought Uggla was one of their really good clubhouse guys. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Stanton, 2 for 9 in the series with a home run. Seems like he's done more damage than that. And that ball up and in hits him. Glancing blow, 2 on, nobody out.
Well, you don't want to hit him up around the neck, but you do have to pitch this guy inside. He's so big and strong that extension is one of his main keys, and that ball is, I mean, that's up there at least 6'2", because he's 6'5". And, you know, young pitchers, pitch that thing inside. Try to keep it around those letters down. Don't get up around that neck. You'll be getting somebody seriously hurt up there.
Here's Cameron. Big night last night for Cameron. Couple of home runs, 3 RBIs. He's driven in 4 during the series. And against Washington pitching, he's 4 for 10. He's seen Lannon before. As a member of the Brewers, 3 for 7 with a homer and 2 RBIs against John. And the Nats are in hot water here in the second inning.
Change up.
Right in there.
Just 1 ground ball away from getting out of this mess. Only nobody out, but you just, you know, a 1 spot here, no big deal. You know, you figure he's going to give up 3 runs a game somewhere unless he has a great outing. You just don't want it all happen so early.
A ball hit to left. It's hanging up, and Johnny Gomes is there to grab it. And that's a very important first out for Lannon and the Nats. How good's John been? Check out the ERA compared to some other good pitchers. Since the end of May, call Luna for up to 70% off all flooring. 877-241-LUNA. Shop smart. Shop Luna with our second inning ERA leaders.
Well, the ERA he has right now is a full half of a run better than his lifetime earned run average. So his best year statistic-wise going to end up being his best year win-wise.
Here's Wes Helms. Wes hitting only 200. He's only had 100 at bats. 6 RBIs on those 20 hits.
Everybody straight away. Zim shading one step to third to cover that line in case the changeup does get inside.
No swing on the appeal by Ramos. 2 balls, no strikes. Marlins are just 2 games under 500 now. The Nats are 5 under. And the Marlins lead the season series 7-4. 4 out of 5 they've won here. Good off-speed pitch on 2-0.
And that's where my mindset about John Lannon has changed. I don't worry about him being behind hitters because he has that changeup that he throws for strikes. Hitters are deceived by it and they swing it and he gets right back, almost even in the count.
Into right field, and that one's right at Jason Worth. Runners have nowhere to go. 2 outs.
Very good job. Yeah, fly balls. Not something that John Lannon's accustomed to throwing, as he tends to throw at least twice as many ground balls, but he gets that ball on the inside part of the plate. Nothing that Helms can do as the ball beats him. The only way that he can make contact is bring those hands inside and drop the bat barrel, lay it off, and hit a weak fly ball to right field.
Here's 27-year-old catcher Brett Hayes. They're back up to John Buck. Hitting .264. Pretty good so far. 3 homers and 12 RBIs. You put their catchers' numbers together with Hayes and Buck, they have 14 homers and 50 batted in.
Yeah, and this is a time when this is the 8-hole hitter. You got the pitcher next, a young hitter, left-handed hitter. So if you don't get ahead of this guy, then you work him tough, and if you walk him, you walk him. Knowing that you can get the pitcher out, the odds are a lot better to get him out. Now you're 0-2. What you do is you set up off the plate. You come in off the plate 6, 8, 10 inches. You go away 4 or 5 inches. You make sure if you do throw the breaking ball, it's working to the plate, or if you elevate the fastball, that it's chest high and up. Nothing anywhere near the plate here.
Because you know this guy wants to hit. He doesn't want to take a walk with 2 men on. And the 0-2 pitch. Lannon bounces it. Ramos stops it.
Great pitch. He's got 3 pitches to work with. Nice block by Ramos as he turns those knees inside, goes down to one knee first. Didn't really square up, kind of little angle toward the third base dugout. Sometimes that ball will hit and carry him off because that angle is so acute. But you don't even think home plate here. You think more of the batter's boxes, like there. Still got another pitch that he can make. You don't give in here. Do not throw the ball anywhere near center of the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, the other night you asked me about throwing too many strikes, and I made the comment, yeah, you know, as in Strasburg's case, 1 game. You know, I don't want any of the young pitchers out there to think that you don't throw strikes. You have to throw strikes.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
You
just
know,
not over the middle of the plate.
Not
all
over
the
the
time.
middle of the plate. And, you know, and 0-2, nowhere near the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Not a bad fastball. Count goes full.
Well, he tried him down with the breaking ball. He tried him in with the fastball. He tried him down with the fastball. He hasn't thrown him a changeup. A good pitch here would be changeup located, down and away, and see if he can lay off of that thing with 2 strikes. Not for a strike either. I'd start it right at that shin guard right there and let it work down out of that thing. Let me clear it quickly. But outside shin guard, and generally it looked like he might wanted to go inside there now. Went with just a fastball. That was 85 mile an hour fastball. He didn't throw that ball real well. Or maybe a slider that he missed. He missed by not getting on top of it.
Pretty good battle between Lannon and the number 8 hitter, catcher Brett Hayes. 2 on, 2 out. Scoreless game, top of the second. 3-2, they're running, and he takes the walk. The bases are loaded.
That doesn't bother me.
Ball game underway at 12:36. We're just beyond 1 o'clock here. 92 degrees. It is sizzling at the ballpark. Hey, from what I hear, just wait till tomorrow. They're talking triple digits for the weekend. Ramirez a double. Stanton a hit by pitch, and then 2 outs and a walk. Brad Hand is a big league hitter, 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts. Strike 1.
Well, I just think that was a great job of John Lannon. You sometimes think guys doing well when they're getting ground balls and striking people out, but you get him 0-2, and then he pitched him as tough as you can pitch him. Move on to the pitcher and get an out. And not that this is automatic, but left-hander against right-hander, everyday or part-time player against a pitcher, you know, there's no choice for me. But he did exactly right. Got ahead of him and then tried to make good pitches, Bob.
Well, there's a guy in that Nats dugout who's made a long living doing such things, and that's Livan Hernandez. Know where the outs are in the lineup. 0-2, swing and a miss, and Lannon's out of the inning. Good job of heady pitching by the Nats lefty. Worth, and then Johnny Gomes makes his debut with the bat. Are scoreless. Visit AFCEA.org, the Association for IT Pros. Here's Debbie with our sideline report.
Well, no doubt David Johnson would love Jason Worth's bat to get hot. In fact, he worked with him this week. He threw him batting practice. He told me they had a good session. He wants him to just relax and be himself.
At times he tries to do too much, and at times he tries to, he's real good, taking pitches, and he's always probably been one of the better hitters in the league that doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes. But one of the things I try to get across to him is, when your time is a little off, it helps to swing earlier in the count, so you can kind of gauge how your timing is. And but he's a smart guy; he understands all that.
Well, David told me, too, he has a message for his offense as a whole. Be more aggressive. As we know, this is a manager who loves to intimidate pitchers. Bob, Ray?
I think it's a great observation, Debbie, because the Nats are one of the most taking ball clubs in the National League. They get a lot of walks. They take a lot of pitches, but they strike out a lot. And I think he'd like to see, Ray, a few more first or second pitch fastball ambushes by some of his hitters this year and be aggressive like this Florida ball club is.
Well, that's the way we were taught. Once you've seen a guy and you know a guy, what his velocity is, you may take one pitch early in the game to see what he's doing, but you just don't continually go up there and just take a pitch to take a pitch, because that thing has a great chance to be the best pitch you're going to see. And once they get ahead of you, 0-1, once a pitcher gets ahead of you 0-1, they have at least 2 pitches that they have that they can mess around with you, with something off speed, with something bouncing, something breaking, something elevated, until they get to 2-1 in the count. And most pitchers think that that's even, 2-1 in the count, because you've got 2 more balls to throw, 2 more strikes to get a guy out. It's not 1-1 that they think they're even. They still think they're ahead 1-1, so they'll mess around with you. 1-1 count. But if you're always behind 0-1, chances are you're not going to get back to the fastball until maybe 2-2, 3-2 count.
Jason Worth 0 for 3 in this series. Didn't play yesterday, but he is 6 for 21 his last 6 games. Showed some signs of life with the bat on the road trip, especially in Houston. And a 2-2 coming, target away. Breaking ball is down, strikes him out. And Worth with 102 strikeouts this year. Here comes Johnny Gomes, 30 years of age, 6'1", 223, from San Francisco, lives in the Phoenix area now. And the Nats picked him up 2 days ago. And here he is making his debut, 11 homers and 31 RBIs with Cincinnati. 74 strikeouts, 38 walks. Johnny in his career, 281 against lefties. And I was really enthralled by my conversation with him. This guy really knows what's going on around baseball. We were talking about the Reds and other ball clubs, why Cincinnati won last year, why they've struggled this year because of their pitching injuries. And he told me the other time in his career when he shared an outfield spot with 2 other players was in Tampa Bay. But he said we went to the World Series in 08 and nobody cared about their numbers. And he said on top of that, one of those guys was always DHing. But in Cincinnati, one guy playing, the other 2 sitting between Gomes, Heisey, and Lewis. And it's a very difficult situation.
There's just no way you can get 3 guys enough at bats to stay sharp.
Former teammate of Lance Nix and Jerry Hairston Jr. in Cincinnati. And then he told me, he goes, I know all about those guys. And he said, and if fans don't know anything about Zimmerman and Morse, they must not have cable TV. So he's got a little humor going for him, and I love his attitude bringing that over here from Cincinnati. He's taking on the 3-0, and it's in there. And he'll take a walk, 38 of those with the Reds.
The fans are going to love him, Bob. He plays hard, twice up for the Hustle Award in Cincinnati. Always been known for a guy that busts his tail all the time.
That's a good swing, but it's just going to flare out there to Logan Morrison for the second out. Andy and Desmond will be next here in the second inning. Exmo of Johnny Gomes.
Change up, and he gets the ball on the end of the bat. Nice job getting the separation there, but watch as the ball gets to him, how he ends up getting the ball right on the end of the bat. Look at the vibration, and that's what kept the ball from being hit hard. He fooled just a tad, took the sting out of the bat because of the speed of the ball and him getting out front a little too much.
And the Exmo brought to you by Jeep. Don't forget to check out that summer clearance sale. Hot deals on some of the neatest cars out there at your local Jeep dealer. Ian Desmond 1 for 3 with a walk, and he's hitting .304 his last 16 games. Desmond sitting at 227 in the number 7 spot today. 1 click above that in front of the pitcher area where he's been hitting most of the time lately. And that's Wilson Ramos's job today, number 8. Fastball off the plate, and so far so good really for Brad Hand. He's given up a double to Zimmerman in his first 6 batters. Fallen behind Gomes, but came back to get him. He's been around the plate for the most part. Except to Desmond, and the Nats have their second base runner. I love when we jinx the opposing pitcher, even though I don't believe in that sort of thing. But here's
Rob Dibble did. That was that karma thing.
Yeah, well, FP's got a few of those things going, and we're looking forward to FP being back tomorrow. Ray, it's been great having you with us the last 3 days. We got you in the shade up here today.
Yes, you do.
I know Johnny and Phil do some roasting out there on the set today. Wilson Ramos is 0 for 4 in this series and 1 for his last 21.
Good time to go ahead and steal a base if you can. Try to read the pitcher. Desmond probably does not have a book on hand yet, but if he's thrown out, then you have the 8-hole pitch, the hitter hitting, and the pitcher can butt him over if he does get the inning going. And if they choose to walk him, you get the pitcher through there. Nice job.
He's picked off. Might as well keep on going.
Oh, yeah,
but it was a balk. It's not a steal. It's a balk called by the first base umpire, Todd Titchener. And that's why Wes Helms grabbed the ball and then didn't throw, because he heard the call from right behind him.
Great job. Great job right there. Taking it right to them. And now they've got to make a decision whether or not you're going to pitch to Ramos. But that's that 40-degree angle line over there, and he just did not step with enough sharpness toward first. Usually if you step and walk toward the throw, they kind of let you by with it. But he opened up that right foot a little bit more toward the plate and clear to the umpire over there that he balked.
Ramos takes a changeup up and away 2-0, and now Hand is in almost the same situation John Lennon was in. Don't let this guy beat you. Take your chances against the opposing pitcher if you fall way behind. Except John Lennon has suddenly become a big league hitter. Ball 3.
Yeah, see, he sets his complete body off the plate away. So they're not going to fool with Ramos.
Don't they know that John Lennon has 4 hits in his last 2 games?
Going ahead and walking him.
Speaking of one of those hits, John Lennon against Hiroki Kuroda in the 2nd inning. Just clearing that wall of Dodger Stadium. A 2-run shot. Desmond had singled. Nats led 3-0 at that time. A ball game. They'd go on to win 7-2. And he got the silent treatment before the guys rallied and partied with him. And then later in that game, John Lennon had another base hit going opposite field in the 7th inning. And that knocked Kuroda out of the game.
And in his prior start, he had a big base hit up the middle.
In Houston. That off-speed pitch had him way out ahead. And that'll do it for the Nats. They've stranded 3 runners. So have the Marlins. No score after 2. Jason Worth bobblehead coming up Saturday night here at the ballpark. Nats Mets 7:05. First 15,000 fans receive the bobblehead presented by PNC Bank. Tickets start at $10. Go to nationals.com/tickets and take home Jason Worth's bobblehead. Hot day at the ballpark as we get ready for that series with the Mets. Shin-Ming Wong, Dylan G tomorrow night, Marquis and Dickey on Saturday, Jordan Zimmerman and John Neese on Sunday, and then the Atlanta Braves come in. And by the way, as always on Sundays, we welcome our friends from DC 50 who will join us here on Mass in HD. On to the top of the third, top of the order for the Marlins. John Lannon, 2 innings, no runs on a hit, 2 strikeouts, 1 well-timed walk, and a hit batter.
And that graphic right there is a tale of 2 seasons, really. 10 starts, 5.03 in the 3.03 batting average. You're talking about turning a season around. My goodness, you don't see that kind of numbers with that much difference in split. John Lannon has been that good over his last 10 starts, 5-1 with sub-3 earned run average.
Not exactly a carbon copy, Ray, but in some ways like his season last year when he went 2-5 with a 5.76 in 14 starts. Went to Harrisburg, came back 6-3 with a 3.42 in 11 starts. So if John Lannon could ever get off to a good start in April and May, he'd really be onto something. 2 balls, no strikes. And that's 3-0 to Bonifacio. And of course, the baseball axiom says over the years that pitchers should be ahead of the hitters in the first 2 months when the weather's cool. 3-1.
Bob, what really excites me about this organization is so many people, when the ball club got close, right at 500, started thinking, oh, this may be a playoff ball club. My thought had always been, this club is on the move, the right move, going in the right direction. Every game's competitive. And then you see a guy like John Lannon, who in all of the years before was not better than a 4th or 5th starter as he walks Bonifacio, but a 4th or 5th starter at best. Now you have a situation where Strasburg is getting close, will be ready next year. Zimmerman has emerged as a solid number 2. Lannon has now pitched so well that he's a viable number 3, a realistic number 3. So now you have a 1-2-3, which is going to give you a chance to win every ball game.
And you know what I really like about the 3 guys, Ray? They're all organization guys. Yeah. Scouted, drafted, signed, and developed by the Nats.
And then there's going to be a serious battle. And, you know, I certainly not trying to put words in anybody's mouth, or that I can think you can pretty much book it that if these guys are healthy, it will be that Strasburg, Zimmerman, Lannon, and then about 6 or 7 pitchers battling for those other 2 spots. Got to see Wong.
Can't wait to see him tomorrow night.
We're seeing Detweiler perform pretty well. You've got Malone down there throwing exceptionally well. He's going to have to get deep look-see. Other guys throwing well down there that have gotten some serious attention.
That looked like a delayed steal. Either that or Bonifacio simply had a secondary lead on the ball in the dirt, and he's at second base. They're going to give him a steal. That'll be his 24th of the year in 28 attempts.
It was 2 hops. And what you do, the reason that thing's designed as a delayed steal is you try to get your infielders, as the ball passes the hitter and they don't see the guy breaking right away, to drop your head thinking that he's not coming. Now, that was a little different than they taught me to do it, because I think Bonifacio, working it so that he doesn't get picked off, took 2 steps and then ran, and the steps were quick steps. We were taught to take 3 kind of very lazy hops off so it didn't draw anybody's attention. The shortstop and second baseman would sometimes drop their heads and would not be there, and often nobody covering for the throw.
So Bonifacio, second base, nobody out. Good hustle there by Ramos, Tried to grab that little tapper before it went foul. And also good hustle by the umpire. Greg Gibson popped out from his crouch, and he had a very good view of that and immediately made the very emphatic foul call. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Probably needs to go soft here to try to make him pull the ground ball. You saw Infante force the ball to right field the other night.
Oh, he's going to pull that one into the outfield. Johnny Gomes charges it. Just got to hit the cutoff man. First and third, nobody out. The Marlins have put pressure on the Nats this entire series with their bats.
Well, he goes with a fastball down, and he just hits it right hard in the hole. There's just nothing you can do. Ball, pretty good pitch, but 2-2 count. Hitter's very aggressive. Didn't go to the breaking ball or changeup. Just threw him a straight 89-mile-an-hour fastball. And Infante, he's always been a good hitter. He was a real good hitter in Atlanta.
Omar Infante hit .321 for the Braves last year, .305 the year before that. So he sets up the inning as he's at first, Bonifacio at third, and Logan Morrison in there. Ball 1 to him. He struck out first time up. Lannon gets one up in the zone, and the count's even.
When you're in a situation first and third, nobody out, the smart pitchers will not concede to run at third, but pitch to come out of this inning giving up just 1 run. Trying to get a double play ball here.
And a bouncer. No chance for 2. And Espinoza appeared to be making the play to second, maybe changed his mind and held on to the ball.
He had a play there. I don't know that if he was on balance enough. He made the turn quickly enough to make the exchange, but maybe he was not in balance, because here he had enough time to make that play. If he was strong, I don't think that he.
Oh, look at the grip.
Yeah,
the ball was popping out of the top of his hand there, Ray.
Yeah, I think because he was trying to stop it, Bob. You see, he ended up right there. And as I saw that play, he had never landed on his right side. He made the turn and he had never gotten his foot solidly planted. So I think that made him try to stop the throw, and he lost it somewhere back in there.
Marlins lead 1-0. Morrison gets an RBI. I've never seen a snow cone in the bare hand, but that sure looked like one there.
Yeah.
First and second, and Hanley Ramirez coming in, and the Marlins are smelling a big inning. Strike call, 1-1.
And we've said time and time again, the Nationals have to play almost perfect baseball. When you're not scoring runs, you can't allow a team to have 28, 29 outs. That's an extra out right there. I don't see an error on the board. I don't know how that can't be an error.
Yeah, they have given an error. They just haven't put it on the scoreboard.
Okay.
Fielder's choice for the hitter. The error allows Infante to go to second base. I don't know. Yeah, the online box score I'm looking at does have an error. They just put it up, and the scoreboard picked up on that. 2 balls and a strike. And a chopper to short. Now this has to be 2. Desmond to Espinoza, and the Nats turn to 6-4-3, sending Infante to third base. 2 outs.
Well, John's been able to do this. He gets the ball up, moving downward, and ball top to shortstop. Desi takes up the ground, nice feed, and then once Espy has that thing in his hand, he's got a little something to throw a man out with. Great arm for a second baseman. Great arm for a shortstop. Great arm, period.
Here's Stanton hit by a pitch first time. His bat goes flying.
Man, he's destroying some timber.
Espinoza throws him out. Barrel of the bat ended up back in that camera bay again. And the Marlins settle for 1. Well, it is camp day, and if the counselors aren't paying attention, they're going to sell a lot of that today. Here's our Brad Peacock look at our minor league report, brought to you by PNC for the Achiever in You, solutions that help you achieve your financial goals. Got a win last night against the Clippers of Columbus, pitching into the 8th inning. Look at that, a one-hitter. Pitch count probably what got him out of the game at 109, but throwing the ball well, and Brad Peacock, Ray, continues to impress.
Boy, does he. 10-2 with Harrisburg. And listen to this, in 98 innings down there, he struck out 129 and only walked 23. That's a 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. And believe it or not, we have a man in the minor leagues, Tom Malone, that has a better ratio than that. At one time, about 2 weeks ago, and I hadn't checked, I will check and get back with you on that. Well, actually, I've checked. 10 base on balls and 118 strikeouts. Tom Malone, with a 3.3 earned run average, has won 8 games in Syracuse. So you're going to hear from those young men pretty quickly. I imagine they're going to be in the mix in spring training. But just two of a plethora of young arms. A.J. Cole, Robbie Ray. Sharon Marta's having a great year in AAA.
Top of the order, Jerry Hairston, Danny Espinosa, and Ryan Zimmerman for the Nats against Brad Hand. So Peacock goes 10-2 at Harrisburg. Then he gets called up, and now he's 2-1 at Syracuse. So how about that? 12-3 on the year.
Yeah, man.
ERA at AAA a little higher, but at 4.41.
His first outing was not good, Bob. He only went 4 innings, and I think he gave up 5 runs. So all that earned run average was in that first start.
Good news. One other ball game in the National League this afternoon. Chris Capuano throwing for the Mets. They're at Cincinnati and trailing 2-1. Those teams traded first inning runs. They're in the bottom of the 3rd right now. Mets are playing good baseball. They're 2 ahead of Florida, 3.5 ahead of the Nats. They come here tomorrow. Hairston fouls one off, keeps the count full.
Did a little math, Bob, between innings, and everybody has asked about the Nationals' chances to be in the wild card race starting, a month ago, and those chances have dwindled mightily over the last week.
Hairston grabbed by Ramirez from his knees. What a play. Hanley Ramirez, outstanding for the out.
Nobody does it better than this kid at shortstop. He makes some tough plays. You usually don't dive as a shortstop and make a play. You're so far from the first base that you can't generally get enough on that ball. But had he gotten up and taken that time, no chance. But he gets there, gets on his knees, strong enough arm to make the throw from his knees, very accurate.
Danny Espinosa steps in 0 for 7 in this series. Tried to bunt his way aboard and popped it up to the pitcher first time. This is really Danny's first extended rough patch on the year. 2 for his last 32. Now 32 at bats, not that long. That's the equivalent, obviously, of 8, maybe 9 ball games. But he hasn't had a streak like this to deal with this year. Quickly 3-0 from the left-hander.
Back to my thought about where the Nationals are. Having had the rough road trip and losing the first 2 games here, Atlanta, it's going to take 90 wins to get in the playoffs. So this shows you how difficult it is and where the Nationals have put themselves. Atlanta are 61-44 through 105 games. That leaves 57 games. If they go 29-28, they end up with 90 wins. In order for the Nationals to get 90 wins, they have to go 41-16.
Yikes.
Oops.
Well, and you just don't go to the playoffs when you don't win in your division and you don't win enough on the road.
Oh, that's right.
Because you play, what, 72 games inside the division?
Yep.
And the Nats right now, 21-34 through 55 of those games. Pardon me, that's the road record. And in the division, 19-32, so 51 games there. And still 20-some remaining. Ryan Zimmerman perfectly placing a ground ball. It's so slow, Espinosa easily goes to third base. Ryan broke his bat, and he's going so well, the ball's going to find a hole for him. And Ryan Zimmerman is 6 for 11 in this series. Nats have their best scoring chance of the day now. First and third, one out. Michael Morse coming up.
Well, it was a fastball that was running away, probably a couple of inches off the plate. But Zim, being aware of right field, hits the ball that way. You look at right off the end of the bat, breaks that thing about 12 inches from his handle. Cannot stand all that pressure out there on the end of that thing.
How about that shot of the bat breaking and staying together in his hands? Here's Morse, 324 with runners in scoring position this year. He had Zimmerman at second base when he struck out in the first, but he gets a big-time chance here. Nats down by one, tying run 90 feet away, one out.
Well, they have pitched, Michael, this whole series soft away and then off the plate in. Not any fastballs hard away.
10-game hitting streak on the line here. Michael, during his streak, 16 for 43. And he's hit over 360 his last 19 games coming into this one. So who would you want at the plate? You're looking at him. Two 2-0. Hitters count, target away. They're not going to give in to Michael Morse, and it's ball three. Hitting .313 coming in, .359 the on-base percentage. That .313, 7th in the league. An amazing breakout season for Michael. First in RBI since May 23rd. Bases loaded now for Jason Worth. Fourth walk issued by Brad Hand. The Nationals have only managed 2 hits on him, both by Ryan Zimmerman. Randy St. Clair for a visit.
It looks like he made up his mind he was going to throw him pitches down and away off the plate and hope that Michael would chase, and he didn't bite. He threw him 4 straight pitches right out there. 2 of them sinking type fastballs, the other 2 fastballs. But made sure he kept him down, and really that last pitch was close. The other 3 weren't even close. Good time for Jason to bust one right here.
Struck out swinging first time up.
Well, he started him off the first time with a fastball on the outside third of the plate. Jason took it, and then he went to all breaking balls after that first pitch. You talked about getting in the stretch, Bob. First time really that you have runners in scoring position last inning, but you had the pitcher hitting. Now he's in the stretch, uncomfortable position. Runners all over the bases, and he's not able to throw strikes.
And a good take by Worth. It's 2-0.
After throwing center cut on a lot of pitches, about 75% strikes his first 40 pitches. Now he's can't find the plate anywhere.
And I know that he just walked the previous guy, and I know that he's gone 2-0 on Jason Worth. But don't you want one of your big guys backing if he sees a fastball right down the middle here?
Hey, Jason Worth isn't going to get out of a slump by taking. You look for the ball big somewhere. For me, out away from me, over the plate, and drive it to right center field, left center field. Don't try to pull it, middle of the field, but definitely aggressive to the fastball and unload on that thing.
That's too low, and it's 3-1. Or 3-0, pardon me.
Trying to trick him. That's a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, but it's not that four-seamer type that he was throwing earlier. He's trying to make the ball sink because he's feeling a little nervous about throwing the straight fastball. I'd give him green light here.
And he'll pop it up. Nats hope nobody can get to it. And that's a fair ball. 1 run scores. Everybody moves up. That ball came twisting back and landed fair. It's a tough base running play for everybody involved. And with a high cloudy sky today, tough play for the Marlins. This game's tied.
That'll give you a little bit of idea of how Jason's timing is off. 3-0, the one thing that you do not want to do is be late on a fastball. That ball is middle, in, and down, and he's late on it to the right side. We got a break. The ball's fair. It gets an RBI. But 3-0, you got to get the bat barrel out in front or not swing at a pitch that you can't get the bat barrel out in front of.
Big spot for Johnny Gomes.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
He's hacking, and that's a double play ball. Inning over. And the Nats will settle for one, just like the Marlins did in the top of the third. By both pitchers in the third inning, keeping bases loaded, jams at bay. Zimmerman is off to a great start. So is John Lannon today.
John, 60 pitches, a little pitch strong right now, but he struck out Morrison on the slider, then the pitcher hand on a little sinker, then got in for a double play there to get out of that big inning, then breaks Stanton's bat on a running fastball away. Stanton looked like he's using balsa wood. That's 3 bats that he's broken in his last 3 trips. Doesn't look like balsa wood when he gets it in the air, does it, buddy?
No, it does not. John Lannon, the only thing working against him right now, 20 pitches per inning. He needs a couple of quickies here as we get into the middle innings of the ball game now. Top of the 4th with Mike Cameron leading off. He lined out to Johnny Gomes in left field first time, and that's ball 2.
Well, a couple of quick innings in a row here. 12, 13 pitches. We're getting right back in line to be able to go deep, but already 3-0. John working quickly today.
Four-pitch walk. It's a hard day out there because it's hot Humidity is up over the last couple of days, and you can wear yourself out in the first 3 or 4 innings of a game. Lee Kuntz, the trainer, knows that. Steve McCaddy a bit concerned. I mean, John's throwing the ball fine, but he has to get away from some of these long innings. Got the side in order in the first on 11 pitches. He threw 30 pitches in the second inning, 19 more in the third, and the alarm just went off with the catcher and the pitching coach. Braves are in next Monday night. It's Dollar Monday. $1 tickets, parking, hot dogs, other select items. Nationals.com/specials. Now check it out, because there are a limited number of tickets available for $1, and you only park for $1 in certain locations. So make sure you check that out, so you don't go to a lot that is not eligible for that $1 parking. Check it out at Nationals.com and find out all about it. Come down and join us Monday night when the Braves are here. Wes Helms, the hitter, flew out to Jason Worth first time, and Lannon misses on 6 in a row now.
Goes to the changeup to get a strike, Bob.
Well, sometimes you do that with a changeup or a breaking pitch, Ray. Those touch pitches that keep you within your mechanics, and that's what Lannon did. Wes Helms will drill that one foul off to the right side. The count's even, 2-2.
I've also noticed that John's velocity is a little down today. He pitched in LA 92 consistently. Today he's hit 90, but he's pitching around 89.
Oh, breaking ball, good looking, just inside.
I wonder where it missed the plate. I mean, it ended up inside. Let's check right here.
Close. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Will they start the runner? No. Mike Cameron's a good base runner. I'm a little surprised they didn't have him moving. Brett Hayes, the catcher, is on deck. Top of the 4th inning. Marlins a run on 2 hits. The Nats a run on 3.
I think he was probably told to run, but you make sure he pitches. No, he's not running. Surprising.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Mets just dropped a 3 spot on Homer Bailey and the Reds in the top of the 4th. New York at Cincinnati 4-2. Tomorrow night the Nats will see Dylan G, who's 9-3 on the year. That kid's becoming a very good pitcher for the Mets. Three balls and 2 strikes. Runner holding again. Strike call. Lannon gets the inside corner this time. That'll be his 3rd strikeout of the day.
Well, Helms looking for something soft, and he throws a fastball. Actually, changeup. That'll lock you up. Looking for a changeup. Gets it, but gets it inside. Not too many pitchers throw that changeup inside. It's a great pitch. Mario Soto used to throw that changeup to right-handed hitters inside, and because you're trying to react, you think it was a fastball, you react quickly and swing about 2 feet out in front of it.
And then Lannon throws a strike to Brett Hayes. Mets have now made that a 4-run inning in Cincinnati and still batting.
Well, John has been able to rectify his mechanics in the middle of an inning several times this year, where he'd reel off 4 or 5 balls in a row and then come back and be as sharp as he's been at any point in the game. Starting to do that right here. Good fastball, breaking ball, appearing to be a strike, going downward. Steve McCaddy, what a great job he's done. I don't know that if we give that man his due, because the bullpen nails all year long. Starting pitching for the first half of the season couldn't have been any better. Steve McCaddy, the father figure to these guys, very demanding but approachable.
That's a trouble into left center. Over to get it, Hairston. And a line drive by Brett Hayes gets the Marlins going here with their pitcher coming up. So they have their third base hit.
That ball looked like it hung up forever. I thought Jerry was going to get there.
He went down and got it.
He hit it on the end of the bat, and the ball just kind of floated out there. That's what we saw, but it did center that gap.
And if Mike Cameron had been running earlier during the strikeout to Wes Helms, the Marlins might have a run here. They can do some things with the pitcher here. Safety squeeze. A sacrifice to move Hayes to second base. They have Bonifacio next. He squares early and bunts it foul to Zimmerman. And I don't know about that base running play. Mike Cameron down there at third base. He must have known the ball was going to go foul. He did not follow Ryan Zimmerman down the line. You follow the third baseman, make him throw to first, you might be able to steal a run, but he didn't do that.
If the shortstop who is covering second does not get to third base, it's an automatic run. There's no way that you follow the third baseman down that thing 40 feet that you don't score. Sometimes in Cincinnati we had a play where the second baseman would go towards second, but then he'd bust to third to make sure that that runner wasn't able to follow Zim all the way down that line on a bunt.
I think Ryan just said to him, "Why didn't you follow me on that first bunt?" Runner and third baseman having a chat, and then Joe Espada, the third base coach, came in.
Well, there's really no defense for it. You bunt the ball down there, the third baseman has to charge. If it's down the line, and a guy with that kind of speed follows him and just gets to first base easily.
There's the bunt to Lannon. Now here comes the runner.
Gosh.
John Lannon just threw a softie down to first base.
Dadgummit, it just casually threw it over there. Did he forget about the guy at third?
I don't know.
He didn't even check him.
And that's the version of a safety squeeze and a ball hit to the pitcher.
I mean, that's not even a safety squeeze. That's a deal where the ball goes up and the runner at third, as you say, follows the guy, and then just with his speed, once you're halfway, watch him. He's not coming. He's staying there, but then Lannon just whirls and throws without giving him any real pause. Watch him. He stays there. He stays there. Lannon's got to check him first, but there's nobody there. I said it before. The third base shortstop now gets over there, but the runner at third knows that there's no one there. There's nobody that can get there. One of the few plays in baseball that you don't have an answer for, as the second baseman is covering first, the shortstop is covering second, and the third baseman is charging. The only way that you can beat that is you can tell the pitcher, you've got the line, I'm staying back, and the third baseman stay home.
So they literally steal a run there. And here's Bonifacio with that hitting streak on the line. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It'll work every time, Bob. I mean, it just works every time, because there's no way, as the base runner, that there's anybody that can threaten you to get you back to third base. So you get out there, hang out about 40 feet from the bag, and a pitcher can't make the throw, or a catcher can't make the throw to first and a return throw home in time to get a fleet runner out.
Ground ball down to Desmond. He throws out Bonifacio, and the Nats are out of the inning. But the Marlins use a walk, a base hit, and a bunt to take a 2-1 lead. back to last place again. Look at the pace on this one. Tall Tom Jefferson out ahead of George and Abe. So you're talking about looking runners back. Teddy gets looked back to the rear of the pack every night. Fans seem to still like it, though. They get excited every night when they run, every day when they run. All right, time to get that family some runs. The Nats have seen Brad Hand a time and a half through the batting order now. He's only given up a run on 3 hits. I mean, Ray, this guy has tried to hang himself a few times with those 4 walks, and the Nats really have not taken advantage.
Well, Bob, he's thrown 56 pitches, 31 balls, 25 strikes. You don't see a guy that throws more balls than strikes at this stage of the game and just have 1 run on the board. I mean, gosh. He is having a tough time with that strike zone.
Here he goes 3-0 on another hitter. He walked Desmond first time, which is always hard to do. Ian's only walked 24 times all year. He intentionally walked Ramos after falling behind 3-0. And there's his 5th walk of the game. You have to make a major league pitcher pay for lack of control.
He's throwing 60% balls. Eventually, that should haunt him big time, like a grand salami with the bases loaded or 3-run double, because he's going to stack him up if he stays at that ratio. And I don't believe that this is going to end up being a 2-1 ball game. They're already warming up right-hander Ryan Sanchez, former Nat.
And he was up last inning. Somebody has to hit that big gapper or that home run with somebody on base to get this offense jump started. Most of the offense, other than 1/2 of an inning last night, has been solo home runs in this series by Lance Nix. Against Florida's frontline pitchers, the Nationals have done very little. They got those runs off Steve Cishek last night, who was pitching with a 6-run lead in the 9th inning. I think sometimes we think that something that happens the night before is going to carry over and affect you the next day. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So far, not a whole lot for the Nats offensively coming out of that 9th inning last night, but a long way to go in this game.
You see how long they waited right there. This is just one of those deals you called last night, Bob.
They're stalling.
You're stalling.
Jack's got all the time in the world. He doesn't have anywhere to go.
He looks real nervous about it.
It's just a joy to sit down and talk baseball with him. I mean, you feel like you're stepping back into a different era.
But you know,
talking to Jack, Ray, is a lot like talking to Pat Corrales. Everything comes in very quick, simple sentences with simple thoughts about how this game is supposed to be played.
Well, it's a simple game. You can't make it too complicated. Sparky Anderson told me, Bob, when I took over for the Reds, I called him for some advice. We've become real good friends. I played for him my first year in the big leagues in '74 and my last year in the big leagues in '88. And he said, Ray, I'm just going to give you one word of advice. You're not going to think of something that has not already been thought of. Don't try to trick anybody. Just think about 27 outs.
This ball by Ramos heading toward the seats.
And make sure that you understand handling pitchers. It's better to go out there and get him out of there early than one hitter too late. But as he would say, and put that one finger up in front of your face, I promise you, don't try to be too cute.
Don't reinvent the wheel, huh?
No, sir.
First time today the Nats have had their leadoff man aboard with the Desmond walk here in the fourth. Marlins lead 2-1. Hits are even at 3. Ramos on a 1-2 pitch. Way out ahead of it. Well, some of the young guys are experiencing the dog days of July into August. Ramos is 1 for his last 21. Danny Espinosa is 2 for his last 32. And they will soon find out that after Labor Day, this thing really gets long in terms of what a minor league season usually is. Runner goes and stops. Ramos flares it to right. Mike Stanton is there for the first out. That'll bring in John Lennon. Mid-season flex plan still in effect here. Pick 3 games, get a 4th one free, and a new era ball cap. Nationals.com/flex. Try it out. By the way, officially, after today's game, 4 more games left in the so-called middle of the season. The Nats are playing ball game number 108 or 104. 108 is the 2/3 mark. John Lennon lays down a really good bunt, and Bonifacio goes to the second baseman Infante. 5-4 on the sacrifice. 2 o'clock, and if you thought your kid was at camp today, you are wrong. They're at the ballpark. Thousands of brightly t-shirted campers at the ballpark today. Debbie's here. Ray, I'm Bob. Nationals Park, and kids from all over the greater D.C. area, Maryland, Virginia, here at the ballpark today. Maybe Jerry Hairston Jr. gives them a reason to jump up and shout. Jerry's 0 for 2 today, strikeout. And a ground ball into left field that was cut off by Hanley Ramirez, who took a hit away from it. When you consider how the rest of that inning went, with 2 more hits and 2 more walks, that play by Ramirez really cost the Nats a big inning. Way outside. How did Brett Hayes reach that?
Bob, in the last 2 ball games, I do it when I'm at the studio. I write down hard contacts, and last night we had 4 hard contacts in the last inning. Prior to that, just 2 and 20-something at bats through the first 6 innings. Today, just 1 hard contact. 3 hits, but a blooper to right by Worth, a ground ball to right, broken bat by Zim. Nothing just really smoked in this game except Zimmerman's double. So, you know, we're just not making good contact, hitting the ball solidly anywhere. And I've done the same thing with the Marlins. They have 5 good contacts, 3 balls that have been hit hard, and then 2 line drives. So, something that just has not happened.
You would have told me in spring training that near the 1st of August, the Nationals would be 15th in the league in batting average, which doesn't mean everything. But to me, runs scored means a lot. And 11th in runs, I would have thought you were crazy the way we were looking forward to watching this offense. 3 balls and a strike. Hairston takes his 6th walk of the day from Brad Hand, who may be pitching his way into the dugout here shortly.
I don't know how long you look at it. He has a 2-1 lead. I guess they're going to probably try to get him a win. But at 71 pitches, 40 balls,
I don't see him making it through 5 innings.
Oh.
And maybe the only reason he's in the ball game now is the struggles of Danny Espinosa. If he's facing Zimmerman, the hook is probably coming out. That was an interesting thing, though, what Sparky told you about handling the bullpen. Better to pull a guy 1 batter too soon than 1 batter too late.
Well, I guess he didn't get that moniker Captain Hook for nothing.
Off speed, floats outside, a ball to Espinosa. Big opportunity for a breakout at bat. And Jack, this is typical Jack McKeon. He goes ball one on another batter. He's seen enough. He said, "Kid, you're gone."
I felt the same way, Bob. You just can't. I don't care what the score is. You can't have a guy throwing the ball up there 65% of the time and not finding the plate. I mean,
yeah. Jack does not care if it's your 6th major league start or your 60th. He's gone. Banana sent to the booth right now. Look at that snow cone here at the ballpark. They'll do a little mixing. Hot day. That looks wonderful. Of course, we're not allowed to have blueberry and then go on camera. The Mid-Atlantic Sports Report tonight, 5:30 to 6:30. Tom Davis, Mel Antonin, Dave Johnson. Complete recap of the series. And also Amber Theo Harris in the ballpark during the series. And she'll have a sit-down interview with Jack McKeon. Mid-Atlantic Sports Report, Mass in HD. Former National Brian Sanchez, 12 games here in 08 with a 7.36 ERA. He's become pretty good for Florida. 226 and 61 appearances last year. 256 and 47 appearances the year before that. And this year, Sanchez is up a little bit at 378, but he's been a very dependable middle to setup reliever for Florida. 1 ball and no strikes to Danny Espinosa, so this is his hitter no matter what happens, coming in on a 1-0 count. Jack McKeon told me he had a young reliever a couple of years ago. Bases loaded, he went 3-0, and he made the pitching change. Brought in one of his veteran guys, got a fly ball, got the next 2 outs, and got out of the inning. He has no patience for young pitchers who do not throw strikes. And now Sanchez, a veteran, goes 3-0. Desmond walked to lead off the inning. 2 outs later, Jerry Hairston got a free pass. Espinosa taking 3-1. Ryan Zimmerman locked in. You'd love to see him bat here. The runners are going on 3-1. And out at third base is Ian Desmond.
bad play.
Wow. The Nats try to double steal on a 3-1 count with 2 outs, and Desmond is nailed. Bo Porter. And you have to think that something from the dugout was not translated correctly, Ray, with a left-handed batter in there.
I don't know what happened. I know that Davey is not going to run into an out with a left-handed hitter up there. Open throw, clear throw to third base. You've got the matchup of a right-hander and a left-hander. You're ahead in the count. There's no reason to force the action there. He's not one to do that. And
Ryan Zimmerman, of course, on deck.
I just think that it was a mismatch. Normally, this is what happens. I'll let you a little bit on inside baseball. There is a hold sign, whether it's going to your neck or going to your wrist like handcuffs. There is somewhere that they have a spot on that uniform that there is a hold sign, meaning you can't run until I release you. Then when you're released, there's usually a demand sign that comes directly from the dugout. I coached third for Davey a full season. He had the hold sign on, and he didn't release it. 3-2, 2 outs, sure. But not why that hitter has an advantage. And so somewhere along the line, maybe the hold sign wasn't given. Maybe the guys thought that there was some type of indicator and then a directive. But either way, not a good play. Even if you think you can steal that base standing up, you've got runners going from second and first, and you've got a hitter ahead in the count. Just not something that's really advantageous.
And by the way, it's not Ian Desmond's fault either, because Hairston was also running. So both runners were told the same thing, and they were both on the move.
He didn't have a big enough lead at second base. I looked at his lead there, and if you're going to force that thing over there, you get as much a lead as you can at second base, and then the secondary lead gets you on out there far enough that you don't have 90 feet to run or 72 feet to run. You're running 65 feet or something. But with Davey going to Bo, something probably got messed up there. I don't know. I mean, all I know is it's not a good baseball. It's not a good play.
2 balls and a strike to Omar Infante, 5th inning underway, and John Lennon goes to a long count. He started this inning with 81 pitches through 4. So John's having a hard time getting off that 20 pitch per average inning, and now he walks Infante. That'll be Lannon's 4th walk of the day. By the way, the Marlins have made the Nats pay for their walks. 2 of the first 3 who walked came around to score. Johnny Gomes, 3rd in voting for AL Rookie of the Year back in 2005, behind Houston Street and Robinson Cano when he came up with Tampa Bay.
Well, he had a lot of impressive things that he did early in his career with Tampa Bay. You mentioned the 3 home runs that he hit against the Nationals playing the Reds. He also had a 3 home run game earlier in his career. He also reached 30 home runs and a little over 400 at bats, which was at that time the 4th quickest of anybody that was currently in baseball, which included Adam Dunn and Longoria, and I even think Ryan Klesko was on that list then. One year in Cincinnati, he only had 281 at bats and hit 20 bombs. So he's done a lot of producing without a whole lot of playing time.
1 ball and 2 strikes now to Logan Morrison.
You think now, and we've talked so much about playing the game correctly, Danny somehow let the ball slip out of his hands, which gave away an out. John didn't pay attention to the runner at third, which allowed a run to score. And then the play there, stealing third base, that's giving away 3 outs. So right now, if everything stays the way it is, the Marlins are getting 30 outs and the Nationals 27. Although you only have 1 error on the board. It's like playing you at golf and giving you a mulligan every 3rd hole. I'm going to lose. Did I ever tell you that I think you may be the best golfer that I've ever played with on your second shot?
And you're still waiting to respond to either of us.
You're not going to say a word, are you?
I'm here. I'm calling a ball game here. You're messing with me. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Logan Morrison. And there's a bouncer that should be a room service double play. 4-6-3 started by Danny Espinosa. John Lannon saving himself some pitches right there. Will throw his second double play ball of the day. Johnny Gomes right up there with some of the best young names in baseball back in 05. And there's that one you talked about, Ray. 3 homers in a game for the Rays. Johnny Gomes that year hit 21 homers, drove in 54 in 101 games. 17 homers 2 years later. 20 between in 06, so he's always been able to hit the long ball.
You know what he can do, too, that people don't realize? Last year, the Cincinnati Reds led all of baseball in going from first to third. You know who led that team in going from first to third?
Was it Johnny Gomes?
Johnny Gomes.
I would have said either him or Scott Rowland.
Right.
Who's a very good base runner.
Brandon Phillips is a tremendous base runner, too. And but yeah, he went there 15 times. He has stolen in the big leagues 38 bases, only caught 19 times with his high 12 in 1 year. So he runs a lot better than you think for a big man.
The bad barrel just about following the ball out to shortstop. They got wood flying all over the ballpark today. 2-1 ball game halfway through. One error, and Johnny Gomes' presence already being felt here in D.C. with that hairdo. Marlins lead the Nats 2-1. Ryan Zimmerman will lead off here in the 5th inning, actually right after Espinosa. And then some of the disturbing things that have happened today, Ray, that have kept the Nats from taking control of this game.
Well, a ground ball hit to second base by Morrison, and Espy comes up with the ball, and somehow it slips out. That's 1 out. Then the runner at third base. This is where Jim has to get back. As soon as he sees the pitcher catching the ball, he's got to bust back to third base to make the guy get back there. Then we run into an out right there, unforced out, giving up another out. So that's 3 outs that we've given up or allowed. A 2-1 ball game. And the other pitcher couldn't throw a strike, and just not doing those little things well. And you see that when we do that, not good enough to overcome generally. Nobody is. Doesn't matter who you are. You know, you're talking about having to play the game perfectly. Hey, listen, there's not very many teams out there with enough talent that they can get away with. Did that hit him? No?
Evidently not.
They can get away with miscues and not playing good, fundamentally sound baseball. Look at this slider, breaking ball, jumps up with both feet. Had he not jumped at the same time, it would have gotten him on that back leg.
Espinosa 0 for 1 with a walk. He was at the plate when Desmond was thrown out at third. Zimmerman and Morse to follow here, bottom of the 5th. Off speed, Espinosa stays with it and fouls it away.
Bob, I want to share something with the people out there and you about coaching third base. When you have a manager like Davey, he will sometimes just give you full reign when he trusts you. And with a runner on second base, Bo Porter's done a fantastic job for this ball club this year.
Espinosa, there's some contact.
There's a bullet. And just to get that thought in real quickly, when I coached third base, Davey and I were together all the time, and we worked it out to where we would talk to our base runners, and we would have a verbal sign. You'd get your lead, and I would say as a third base coach, "You're all right. You're all right," meaning that nobody's near you. And on the third "you're all right," it was a demand steal. Because after every "you're all right," you took another full stride lead. And it was then on me, and we explained it to them, it's on Ray if you get picked off. But we stole probably third base 25, 30 times that year, and we had great speed.
Zimmerman went up hacking, and that ball jammed him. He's out for the first out. First time he's been retired today.
But there's times when that shortstop and second baseman just forget about you. And, you know, then when they know that you're verbally doing things and the way that you do it, you say, "You're all right. You're all right," right there. And when you say right there, that means the shortstop is moving. And then you say, "Careful," when he starts to take a jab step. And then once it's careful, everything's shut down. There's no way you're coming. Your mind is on second base. I don't know if they're verbal down there. Sometimes you'd get in like a dome stadium in Houston back then in the Astrodome, and you couldn't hear, so you had to shut that down.
And after the base hit, 2 pitches, 2 outs on 2 easy fly balls by Zimmerman and Morse. Jason Worth coming up. His bobblehead will be yours on Saturday night if you're one of the first 15,000 fans through the gates here. Presented by PNC Bank. Tickets start at $10. 7:05 game Saturday night. Go to nationals.com/tickets. Interesting at bats by your 3-4 guys. Finally got a hard hit ball to lead off an inning. Now quickly 2 outs. And here's Worth 1 for 2 with that RBI flare down the right field line.
Another good time to try to run, get a man in scoring position. He's seen at least 3-4 pitches down there now to try to work an advantage. He has a bigger lead than he had last night.
Interesting that Worth has 31 extra base hits this year out of his 78 total hits.
And he generates such great bat speed when he is anywhere near his timing. I've seen Jason off balance hit the ball that one hops the wall. I mean, talking about one of the strongest men in baseball right here. I'll never forget that last series that I was doing with you last year, Bob, in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
When you could not hit the ball harder than that man hit the ball for a series. A couple of walk-off home runs. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to pitch him. It didn't make any miss. If you missed by 2 or 3 inches, he took it. If you threw the ball anywhere over the plate, he ki-yi'd it, man. I mean, he hit rockets everywhere.
And Worth in the air to center. 3 easy fly balls after the Espinosa base hit. This one into the 6th inning. Marlins bullpen against John Lannon. Marlins 2, Nats 1. Sixth inning coming up. Masson giving away 30 prizes in 30 days, including signed jerseys and other Nats gear. All you have to do is visit facebook.com/Masson Nationals for a chance to win. Great to see all the kids in their Nationals gear at the ballpark today. Seeing a 2-to-1 pitchers duel. John Lennon, 95 pitches, 54 strikes. On a hot day, this could be it for him as he tries to go 6 innings for the 12th time this year. One ball, one strike. Mike Stanton hit by a pitch and a ground out. I still have to double check my scorebook every time when I look at the fact that he's 2 for 10 in the series with just that 1 RBI and the home run 2 nights ago. I guess when he does damage, it's so memorable. You have to have a hard time getting it out of your mind. They'll hack that one foul. Marlins box, they only had 3 hits today. Their RBI came on a Logan Morrison fielder's choice ground ball back in the 3rd. Lannon, with his 4 walks, has probably cost himself 1 inning worth of pitches. Maybe giving himself a chance to go 6 rather than 7 today. He's due to bat 4th in the bottom of the 6th. Mike Cameron is next. And that ball is hit out to left center. Watch it fly out of here. That is at least halfway up toward the red porch. When he hits them, they are impressive. That's his 24th of the year.
Well, you don't leave anything up to him, that's for sure. That ball started up right down the middle and just short, powerful, just unreal power. He doesn't, it does not even look like he hits that ball, and that's one of the biggest home runs in this ballpark. He hit the biggest home run, I believe, last year. This leaves you in awe of that power.
Marlins 3, Nationals 1, and with the ball club not hitting, every run you give up is just like a dagger. Mike Cameron hit 2 homers last night. The Marlins have now hit 7 in this series. And Zimmerman to his left. Nice pickup. Good throw to finish it off. Well played by the former Gold Glover.
Always so quick. 3 quick steps, dive, comes up, makes a very strong throw. I think once you're a Gold Glover, Bob, you're a Gold Glover forever, not a former Gold Glover.
I'll agree with that.
Maybe not the current Gold Glover.
I have to admit, I am feeling so much better about Ryan's arm and his accuracy now with some of the changes mechanically he's made. I mean, he's throwing the ball, 3/4 or so. Doesn't have that sidearm whip and the ball sailing anymore. And he's worked very, very hard. I mean, when you've been a big leaguer for 6 years, how do you change your throwing mechanics? That's tough.
Well, anytime you're asked to change, whether it's throwing, your bat position, pitching mechanics, after you've done it for so long, most of the time it doesn't work out positively because it gives you so much to think about, takes away the natural reaction of whatever you're doing, and you become so cerebral about it that it worries you to death. And he had some trouble early, but now he seems to It kind of looked like he was launching a grenade there when he first started that thing.
Here's Brett Hayes with 2 outs now. Good breaking ball by Lennon. Struck out Wes Helms. Hayes with a walk and a single at the bottom of the order today. That foul tip right into the body of Wilson Ramos. So John Lennon trying to battle his way through 6 again. If the Nats could get a run or 2 in the bottom of the 6th, they would probably consider leaving him in. Although you figure with Sean Burnett warming up, he'll be pitching the 7th.
And with him hitting 4th, unless it is a bunt situation, and him having 112 pitches, this is it for him.
Hot day, 95 pitches into this inning.
Of the 4 walks, 2 of those men scored.
And this one over by the dugout. It'll be out of play. One and 2. Breaking ball, and it's lined outside third. Into right center. And the number 8 hitter for the Marlins is on base for the 3rd time. Look at that ball hit the turf and just check up. Jason Wirth thought he was going to have to cut it off. And how about Brett Hayes with a walk, a single, and a double today? Marlins will hit for Brian Sanchez, who can be the winner. Swooping in out of the bullpen to keep the Nats at bay.
The deepest that John has gone in any game that I'm looking at at least 22 starts, 21 starts, is 109 pitches. And he did that all the way back June the 6th against the Giants.
You are correct. And Davey Johnson figures 115 is enough. Plus, there's a left-handed pinch hitter. Interesting, left-handed pinch hitter coming in, but another left-handed pitcher will come in, and that'll be Sean Burnett. John Lennon battling again today. It is so difficult for these Nats pitchers, getting very little run support throughout the season. A long, long battle for Lennon, who goes 5 2/3 today. pitch with 2 outs here in the 6th. Ball game still well within reach. And again today, the bullpen has to keep things close. Carolina League champions Potomac Nationals down there at Fitzner Stadium in Woodbridge. PotomacNationals.com. Check them out. 703-590-2311. Won their ball game at Wilmington 5-1 last night. And Sammy Solis, 7 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run, dropping his ERA down to 3.26. Good things going on at high A ball for the Nats. Sean Burnett to Brian Peterson, who had a pinch hit here last night and a pinch hit double with the run scored on Tuesday. This is a tale of 2 offenses going in very different directions. Now he has another base hit. Look at that, 3 for 3 pinch hitting in the same series. Stopping at third base, Brett Hayes, 2 outs. Now Sean Burnett has to do with Emilio Bonifacio, batting right-handed. 0 for 2 with a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. Florida 3 hits in this inning, 6 in the game, out hitting the Nats 6-4. Bonifacio, by the way, came into this game right-handed, batting .341. He thought he'd become a power hitter, try to go up and get that fastball.
Yeah, he's made himself into a good, dangerous, high on base percentage hitter, left-handed. You mentioned last night, Bob, how he scuffled right-handed here when he was with the Nationals. And he looks more of just a free swinger, right-handed. Yeah, he's hitting on the thou shalt not pass theory.
By the way, the Mets have just exploded in Cincinnati and now lead 9-3 in the 6th inning. So their offense, even without Carlos Beltran, generating some runs the last couple of games. They'll be here tomorrow night. Dylan Gee and Chin-Ming Wong for the Nats. Fastball is up, 2-2.
I'm excited about seeing Wong after almost 2 years rehabbing all of last season, and he's pitched well down there using that sinker. He's not a strikeout guy, but a lot of ground balls.
We have already seen a number of Asian media members in the ballpark and in the press box, and this place will really be lively tomorrow night. The game will be televised back to Taiwan. Right now, the Nats fighting for their lives against these Marlins. 2-2 pitch. Bonifacio And that will be another hit on his hit streak. 26 in a row, and the Marlins lead 4-1.
And we continue not to be able to shut down an offense later in the ball game.
So that's 26 in a row. All 4 of these runs charged to John Lennon, and now the 2 base runners aboard charged to Sean Burnett, who's really having a hard time getting consecutive batters out. Now he faces contact man Omar Infante, and he goes up the middle, and Burnett spears it. Big inning for the Marlins. They had a couple of runs. Johnny Gomes leads off for the Nats. Bottom of the 6th, down 3, straight ahead.
When they trail the Marlins by a score of 4-1 as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Now, Nats newcomer Johnny Gomes told me he's not a silver spoon kind of guy. He was never handed anything. He always had to work for everything. But he said when he's called on to play, he will be ready.
There's a few things, I can guarantee, none of them are numbers, which is, I don't really set numbers goals, but I'm going to pay attention to details, and I'm going to play the game the right way and, hustle every single day. So I'm one to leave it all on the field, and hopefully that becomes contagious. And when you get 25 guys doing that, you get into October.
And if it's not this October, hopefully it will be next October. Johnny also told me his wife, Christy, and their 2 young children. He has a 5-month-old and a 2-year-old. And they will be headed here to Washington, D.C. They're back in Cincinnati, packing up and moving the household. He also told me that he told Davey Johnson he feels comfortable playing left field or right field. And, of course, he'll be ready to come off the bench whenever he is needed. A great right-handed power bat, we hope. Bob, right?
All right, Debbie, and of course everybody's goal is October, but December of 2002 was life-threatening for Johnny Gomes. He'll face Bert Badenhop here. Johnny Gomes, at the age of 21, had a heart attack on Christmas Eve in 2002 from a pinched valve from an angioplasty. Hospital in 5 days for him. Survived that. He's been through some personal tragedy. Involved in a car accident with a boyhood friend, Adam Westcott, who did not survive that. And Johnny has dealt with a lot of things in his 30 years. And a lot of it came in his first 20 or 21. So here's a young man of great character. And a good ball player to boot. He's 0 for 2 with the fly ball to left and the double playground ball. 4-6-3 that ended a would-be rally in the 3rd. That hit him, and he's aboard to lead off to 6th.
And when he talks to you about playing hard, as you see this ball get away from Badenhop, 18 inches off the plate, right above the belt buckle, doesn't hardly even flinch. That man right there up for the Hutch Award when he was with Cincinnati.
Named after Fred Hutchinson, right?
Yes, sir. I was the happy recipient of that award in 1983. while playing with the Astros, and he has been up for the Good Guy Award for 2 years in a row. Won it last year in Cincinnati. Won it 2 years in Cincinnati. A guy that exemplifies hustle, spirit, all-around good guy. He gives it to you, boy. I mean, he is one of those guys that goes back to like the Pete Rose mold, where everything he does is full tilt.
And Desmond with a fly ball to center for Mike Cameron. Four hits for Washington today. Two of them were put together in the third on a Zimmerman opposite field grounder, a bloop by Worth. Espinosa base hit leading off the fifth. Henry Rodriguez, it appears, for the seventh. Here's Wilson Ramos 0 for 1 with an intentional walk, and Johnny Gomes' former teammate in Cincinnati on deck. That would be his friend Lance Nix. Badenhop just missing away. 1 ball, 1 strike. This guy throws an easy 91.
He almost walked all the way home wanting to know where that pitch was.
Maybe his catcher comes down to settle him down a little bit. Left-hander Mike Dunn.
I guess they're getting him ready for Nix. Behind him, you have Harrison and Espinosa, switch hitters. Zimmerman right-handed Morris, right-handed Worth.
Hey, you know, the Marlins are within 2 games of 500. Jack McKeon, he said, we're here to win. I don't care about anything else. You'll accept what roles I give you. If you come in for 2 batters, that's it. We're going to get the matchups we want. And they have a chance to leave town and head for Atlanta, 1 game under the 500 mark. You know, but having that talk like I did with Jack 2 days ago, talking about the modern ball player and managers having to manage personalities and everything, he basically said they have to manage my personality.
Yeah.
I'm not managing theirs.
Well, we had a little discussion of that the other night. When you have the autonomy to make those decisions and don't have to worry about what the people in the front office are thinking or saying, and I guarantee you he doesn't worry about anything. He's running it the way he wants to. And just like taking that young left-hander out there with not giving him a chance to win the ball game, he's not here to make friends. If he has to in any way lean toward what you want, he has great expectations, knows how the game should be played, how you need to go about your business to play it correctly, and demands that. And as a result, he gets respect, not only because of all the years he's been in the game, but because of the fact that he's won. And you mentioned the general manager. He's been a general manager. Managed, what, 5 different ball clubs? Kansas City, I know, San Diego, Reds, Marlins. Now the Marlins again. Oakland, that's the one I missed.
Lance Nix looks at the fastball that misses. 2 balls, 1 strike.
One swing of the bat, Lance. Put this ball club back in this thing. Seems like it's going to take the one swing of the bat. Haven't been able to put together multiple hits and only 1 inning the third when Worth and Zim.
That ball down the left field line, but slicing foul. The Nats have 2 pinch hit home runs this year. Rick Ankiel and Wilson Ramos, and Lance has gone yard twice in this series, both times leading off innings.
Fastball down and in. Slider down. And then just missed, tying the game up last night in the 9th inning when he caught a changeup just, oh man, a fraction of an inch down on his bat. Hit a fly ball within 3 feet of the wall. towering fly ball that, to us, it looked like he got it when we saw the replay, hit a little bit off the end of the bat.
Up the middle, ball escapes right through to Hanley Ramirez, and the Nats are gone in the 6th. They've stranded 8 runners. 4-1 Fish. One 7th inning coming up. Florida, those 2 add-on runs really changing the complexion of this ball game. All right, so Mr. Ex-Major League Manager, what can a skipper do in a situation like this when the offense isn't producing? Starters are battling, and then you've got some struggles in the bullpen because you're not pitching your guys you have out there without a lead.
I'll make it pretty clear. You have to just hope that the guys start responding and start doing the things that they're supposed to do. You have nothing to do. You can only talk so much. You can have only so many closed-door meetings. You can only shake up the lineup so many times. It's all about the 25 guys on the roster doing their job, and that's just not happening. Decent pitching, bullpen, but just a lot of things not going right now. And Davey said it best. They're underachieving. He's letting them know that he expects more. And I think the only thing that you can do is be patient, sit back, and when you see somebody starting to swing the bat well, you put him in the lineup. And it ends up being a deal where every job is open. You're not guaranteed a shot to play. You're not only guaranteed to get in the ball game when you start delivering. And there's not really anybody that swing the bat so much, so well around here that can't take a day or 2 off or be replaced. Morris is a guy that's earned that. Certainly Zimmerman because of his time and his production over the years. But, you look at Danny Espinosa, great shot at Rookie of the Year, but he's going to have to come on strong and continue to hit. So there's nothing that is more frustrating than having a team that that has ability, but yet just falling a little short in a lot of categories, Bob. So no answer, no crystal ball. You just suit up every day. I think Davey did the right thing when he told these guys to back off a little bit, because you get worn out this time of the season. You work too hard. Your mind continually is going, and you get toasted.
Zimmerman over to cut it off. Nicely done. On the run. Nice throw. Logan Morrison retired. On a good play by the Gold Glove winner.
There you go.
Ryan Zimmerman.
And he does. Nobody makes this play better. We've said it so many times. When he's coming in, he never makes a bad throw. He uses that underarm, sidearm throw, which is his natural throw. He's so accurate with it. I think the only reason that they wanted him to change was because he was having problems with his stomach area after surgery, throwing the ball his normal way. So they tried to get him more up top, using his bottom half. Although he had times last year where he was a little sporadic throwing the ball, he comes up with so many plays that's just what happens sometimes. But still one of the finest third basemen in the game, and will be a part of this ball club when it becomes a championship ball club, and it will become that with the direction it's going.
Hanley Ramirez with a high fly ball to right. Jason Worth feeling his way back there. Short of the wall, makes the grab. And by the way, on that Zimmerman pickup, the Dodge Ram Exmo featuring the Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram Summer Clearance event. These offers won't last long. Hurry into your local dealership.
Well, here's that Exmo. Watch how he gets this ball out. Gets it fairly across the seams. The only difference there is he's throwing that thing with his 2 fingers, but he throws it so naturally from under there, Bob, and you're always going to execute, or generally you're going to execute best by doing what comes naturally. And that throw from that angle certainly comes naturally for Zim, and I don't know if I've ever seen him throw a ball away from down there when he's on the move.
Rodriguez comes out throwing strikes. 2 quick outs. 1-1 to Mike Stanton, who's been hit by a pitch and homered today.
And I like what Johnny Gomes said, that he can guarantee a couple of things, that he's going to play hard, and he's going to go out there and do everything that he can and play hard. And that's what Davey is going to demand. Going to try to clean up some of these decision-making errors that going to third, or, you know, the play that Espy made where he tries to get the ball out of the glove, that happens. The play that Lannon made where he didn't check the runner at third, Zim did not get back.
Was that a strikeout?
Yeah.
Mike Stanton standing at the plate and trying to plead his case with Greg Gibson. You can't go to first base on a strikeout unless you leave the batter's box. That's rule the swing. Nats retrieve the baseball, hitting off. And by Mitsubishi Electric Cooling and Heating. To find a Mitsubishi dealer near you, visit MitsubishiComfort.com. Beautiful night down there on the wharf. And by the way, the Jefferson Memorial just in the distance on 395 there. And it's Friday Night Baseball coming your way, Masson 2. Dylan G. Jose Reyes. Zimmerman knows the Nats and the Mets very well, that rivalry, and we'll get you going tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Chin-Ming Wong will be on the mound for the Nationals. 55 career wins. Hasn't started since the 4th of July, 09 with the Yankees. 6:30 Nats Extra. Dylan G having a fine season. And against Burt Badenhop, Roger Bernardino will bat for Jerry Hairston Jr. here in the leadoff spot. Leading off, bottom 7. So Hairston 0 for 2 with a walk today, 1 for 7 in the series, and Davey Johnson just searching offense. Pinch hits Bernardino. Strike one pitch is outside. Roger puts a bit of a charge into that one, out to the track, and it is run down by Mike Cameron. Good swing by Roger Bernardino, who's been scuffling. 5 for his last 37. But he hit that ball about 380 the other way. Next up, Espinosa, then Zimmerman. Danny Espinosa with a base hit last time, a walk in the third, 1 for 2 today, and 1 for 8 with 3 walks in the series. Cincinnati got 4 in the bottom of the 6th. Slugfest there now, trailing the Mets 9-7. Espinosa charges that one into right field. Run down by Mike Stanton. So Danny's hit the ball hard twice in a row, and Ryan Zimmerman 2 for 3 today, stepping in.
Zim swinging the bat well, eking a ground ball through the right side early in the ball game. Next at bat, line drive to left field as he squares that ball up, stand back. Couple plays, diving to his left. Nice throw to first, then charging in front of him on a high hopper, short hopping it, coming up, underarm throw, starting to do his part.
So Ryan Zimmerman, the double in the first, the single in the third, and he steps in batting .268.
Five hits in last 2 nights.
And he has 6 hits in this series. Ryan sits safely now in 15 of his last 18 games. And a breaking ball by Badenhop stays low. Michael Morse with an 0 for today, 0 for 2 with a walk, 3 for 11 in this series.
Seven outs left in the ball game. 1 runner, 1 bomb, 1 double. Get within a couple of runs. You see what happened last night. You know, you all but write the ball club off, and it doesn't take long. It doesn't take a lot to put together a big inning. Just 3 or 4 really well executed at bats. Both of these balls that started this inning, the Bernardino ball was crushed. That ball right there was crushed. So that's what I'm talking about, hard contact. When you have hitters doing that, you're just hitting into bad luck. But you cannot say a word. You just, you know, you clap your hands and say, get him next time.
Zimmerman up the middle, a chance for 3 hits. And Ryan having another fine day at the plate. That'll get his batting average up in the .270 range. In fact, they already had him on the scoreboard at .272 when that one went through.
Big leg kick, a lot of things happening here. The bat wrap gets the leg down as the hands are in the strongest position. The separation slides a little bit over the top of his backside. Hits the top of the ball a little bit as he lets the ball get back to him, but right back up the box. A lot of room out there for base hits, and he found the right spot.
Now Michael Morse looking for that big swing Ray talked about. Breaking ball, great slide by Brett Hayes.
I like what FP always says about not making the last out of the game, but I like the idea of not making an out in this inning as a hitter. You know, really focusing and putting everything that you have into an at-bat, but doing it relaxed. And that allows you to throw the bat barrel and get maximum bat speed and see the ball when you're not jumping all over the place. Michael has done that so efficiently this year. Still hitting .311.
Michael Morris has a 10-game hitting streak at stake here. Might get another at bat. 2-1 pitch. That is a little bit outside. Badenhop really hitting that fastball near the corners. Former starter.
Now, big pitch for a hitter right here that has this kind of power. You know where your strength is. You look for the ball in that area. If it's there, bust it. If he walks you, now you set it up for Worth. Tying run at the plate. There you go.
2 on, 2 out. Badenhop in his second inning of work. That's his first walk. Jason Worth 1 for 3 with a single, and it looks like Jack McKeon has seen enough. He may be going to Edward Mujica here. This is one manager who does not tolerate bases on balls. Somewhere Sparky Anderson is smiling as the Florida Dr. Hook reemerges. Battle their way back from a 4-1 deficit. Today's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Right-hander Edward Mujica, 46th appearance. One behind Randy Choate and Mike Dunn for the staff lead. Just over a 3 ERA in 50 innings, 38 strikeouts. Good control, only 6 walks, and the league only hitting .211 against him. Tough assignment for Jason Worth. Zimmerman and Morse have kept the inning alive. And Worth will take that slider outside. Tyler Clippard just now starting his warm-up tosses. Whether the Nats can tie the game or not, it appears he needs some 8th inning work. Ball 2. Johnny Gomes is 0 for 2 in his Nationals debut. That's ball 3 with a fastball low. Base hit Zimmerman. Walk to Morse. And Worth fouls it off. 3-2. Runners will be moving. Worth late with a fastball there. He's had 3 pretty good heaters here.
He has, Bob. 2-0. Fastball down the middle. Swung through it. Good pitch to hit. 3-1. Fastball down the middle. Fouled it back. That pitch was a pretty tough pitch there. That's just fighting tooth and nail to get it out of there inside. And he had 2 pitches to hit and missed them both. There's another pitch right down the middle of the plate. Fastball. And he's spinning off that ball a little bit. Listen, anytime you spin off the ball, you're going to lay the bat barrel off and you're going to end up late.
And he takes a breaking ball and gets a piece of it.
He's in between. On the fastball, late. On the breaking ball, early.
Fastball jams him, and he slams it off the helmet of Greg Gibson, the umpire.
He's battling. He's had 3 pitches to hit this at bat.
That one to center.
Baby.
Zimmerman scores. Over to third is Morse. It's a 4-2 game on one of Jason Worth's best at-bats of the year.
Oh, that was sweet. Man, you pull for him so hard. You pull for everyone. Gosh. It's come so hard for him. Great at-bat. Got the barrel there. Line drives. Covers the ball. Great. Brings his hands in. Perfect right there as that front side. Stays back. Nice job. Great job, man.
Worth 2 RBIs today, 36 and 37 on the year. And now things get interesting with Johnny Gomes. Another runner at third base. Tying runs aboard, Worth at first with 2 outs.
Johnny sitting over there. He sees him throw Jason 5 fastballs, and he sits in that fastball and he throws him a hook. A good one.
Gomes takes that slider. Starting in Houston when Jason Worth had his 2 doubles and a homer that day. He has 3 multi-RBI games now over the last week for the Nats.
Gosh, 1-1 count, 467. Are you kidding me?
They better not throw him a fastball. They do, but it misses. 2-1.
He looks hitterish, doesn't he? He got that ash or maple primed and ready. That's Ash. I mean, that's Maple. Excuse me. Not a lot of those Northern Ash bats around anymore, are they, Bob? Louisville, I guess, is only...
Doesn't seem like it. I remember reading a report 2 years ago that the ash trees were in distress around the country, and they were having a hard time making enough quality bats out of the crop available.
You know, they had... Louisville Slugger had a couple thousand acres that they owned in Austria of Northern Ash. And tries the fastball, 2-1, just misses down in the lower quadrant, just off the plate.
3-1 now. This should be interesting. Hey, if you're the Marlins, you're up by 2 runs. You want your guy throwing a strike here. He does, and it's right down the middle above knee high. And now Worth will be on the move from first base as Trent Jewett checks in with him. Ian Desmond's on deck.
Yeah, this ball game will be tied if he hits anything sharply in the gap.
On a fastball up, Gomes strikes out. Pretty good 3-2 pitch by Mujica. The Nats again settle for 1 run. Seems to play some long ball games this week. And Ryan Zimmerman having a big day. 3 for 4 with a double. He's now up over 270. Jason Worth, 2 RBI day. Mike Stanton continues to hit the Nats hard. 24th home run, 62 RBIs. Let's check in our Ford Tribe of the game.
Well, he launches that big breaking ball, getting back to the barrel. He hits it over to the W.B. Mason sign out there. And deep left center field, right back into that level, right under the red porch. And that, my friends, was a bomb. 46th extra base hit of the year, 62nd RBI.
Roger Bernardino takes over in center after pinch hitting. And Tyler Clippard sat down. He was warming up. If the Nats had tied it or maybe even gotten back to within 1 run, he would have come in, but they couldn't do it. And it's a 4-2 ball game into the 8th with Cameron, Helms, and Hayes coming up for Florida. The Marlins are trying to beat the Nationals for the 24th time in 32 games here at Nationals Park since it opened in 08. Maybe we should psych them out next year and have red seats, not blue. Cameron 0 for 2 with a walk. Now Cameron, 4 hits, 4 RBIs in this series. And the appeal, Todd Titchener says no swing. 2 balls, no strikes. And Rodriguez, after a quick 7th, trying to get something going here in the 8th, but he goes 3-0 to the leadoff man. Still looking for a clean outing from Henry lately without a walk. If you're hitting the road, take the Nationals with you. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Every Nationals game live or on demand on your computer, your favorite device. For more details and to order, log on to nationals.com. Wes Helms 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts is next. Let's see if Wes Helms has any sacrifice bunts this year. He has 1. Looks like the Marlins have Mike Dunn all revved up for the 8th inning, and then they have their closer Leo Nunez available. Nunez got a surprising save last night. In the sense that they led by 6 runs going into the 9th inning, and by the time he got in the game, the tying run was in the on-deck circle, resulting in a save situation. And Steve McCaddy has to lecture Henry Rodriguez again. Bob Gibson once told me, Ray, when you're a young pitcher, you don't want to walk guys. You don't want to fall behind 2-0, 3-1 all the time. But when you're young, that ball just doesn't go where you want it to a good part of the time. I mean, look at Sandy Koufax, who couldn't throw strikes. I don't remember Gibson having that problem. But
Nolan Ryan did.
Nolan Ryan, yeah. Trying to harness that unbelievable velocity.
Oh, a lot of people. I think back to the young Reds pitcher Wayne Simpson, Tommy Hume, Mike Lacoste, Moscow, even Don Gullett, his first year, but he was just 18 years old. By the time he was 19, he'd figured it out. But the tendency to overthrow, not be rhythmic, get a little overextended as opposed to compact.
And another thing about Henry, spends a lot of time between pitches. This is a guy trying to make an out.
And just face it, some guys are bat shy. They are afraid to throw the ball around the plate. They won't tell you that, but you take them down in the bullpen and they can dot I's. And you get them out in a game and just something changes. A guy like this that has this kind of pure talent should never be afraid to throw a strike. And if he ever learned to get ahead of guys, he's just a guy that would dominate, because his pitches that bounce, it's a little different. 0-2, you swing at those. 2-0, you spit on them. You know, the elevated fastball, you swing at it when you're behind in the count.
Runner goes, and Helms hits the ball pretty well out to left center. Long run for Bernardina. He'll get there. And Roger, a couple of steps short of the wall, grabs it. Mike Cameron was running on the pitch, and I guess it was just too far for him to get back to the bag and tag, because it was pretty obvious Bernardina was going to catch that ball.
The one thing that Roger does, though, Bob, he runs along with the ball, and as a base runner, sometimes it's difficult because you see him running along instead of getting to the spot, and just being there, waiting on the ball. You saw Cameron before on the ball that Bernardina actually hit out there. He's running so hard full tilt, and by the time he gets to the ball, he gets to the spot with the ball, and he's waiting on that ball. So it's a little hard to, because it gives you the feeling that the guy is not going to catch up to it. From up here, you can see that he's got it timed.
Runner goes again, swing and a miss. Ramos a throw on target, but caught in front of the bag by Espinoza.
And when you have that ability, just wait one pitch and then still second.
Sure.
Cameron can still do it. He hit 2 home runs last night. Breaking ball, hardly a chance to throw anybody out on a breaking ball that's down like that. You end up having to backhand it. It leaves your weight back on the backside. You want to kind of be firing out of there on balls when you throw people out, pushing off your.
Ooh. On the appeal, no swing.
Well, you judge this one, Bob.
Ooh, I would have said make a U-turn and head back to the dugout.
That black bat sometimes confuses me. I can't see it as well as I can those white bats.
Brett Hayes has had quite a day. Fastball up and in. By the way, that stolen base by Mike Cameron, his first of the year, including his time in Boston. 33 games with the Sox, and now coming over to the Marlins. His career total now sits at 297.
Yeah, that's surprising. Not the 297, but this
first of the year.
Yeah.
That ball gets away. So you can say that the Nats have given Mike Cameron first, second, and third here, with a walk, to steal, and a wild pitch.
And this is so critical to save this run right here. You're talking about getting frustrated. Debbie would be taking out those Rolaids that he used to advertise for. Man.
I just shudder to think of Jack McKeon managing Henry Rodriguez. Oh, Espinoza, great play, but didn't have time to get it home.
Not with that speed, not going on contact.
And an RBI for Brett Hayes, who's had a good day with the bat. And the Marlins now have a 3-run lead back.
And that's just tough. SB makes a great play, but you'll see that the range here is limited to about 4 or 5 feet. Gets there. Cameron, with him going away from him, gets a good walking lead. Off with the crack of the bat. Just no play.
They were going to pinch hit Greg Dobbs. And now with that run home, it'll be the pitcher Edward Mujica. In his 9th major league at bat, he's actually 2 for 8 career. First AB this year. I'm sure he's thinking like Henry, just throw it over. I'll swing and hit it to somebody, and then I'll get out there and pitch. Look at him swing the bat. There's a play at first. Worth's going to throw him out on a base hit to right field.
So 9-3.
9-3. I think Jason's been trying to do that all year long, and Mujica is out, and it really wasn't even close. right now. Hot day at Nationals Park. This one going bottom 8. Jason Worth has been waiting for a pitcher to one-hop a base hit to him. Look where he's playing.
Well, he's got it planned out, man. I mean, that's the kind of player he is. He's a ball player, buddy. He doesn't make very many, or if any, mental mistakes. He plays the game right in every aspect. Our best base runner, in my opinion. When he could looking back saying, "What are you doing, boy?" But watching Jason play all year long, you got to like the way he plays the game.
Let's see at the bottom of the order can get something going here. Desmond, Ramos, and the pitcher's spot due up. Ian Desmond, 0 for 1, pair of walks today. Ramos has walked, he's 0 for 2. But he's not in the on-deck circle just yet. And Mujica throws it outside. Here comes the Nats' young catcher, who, by the way, should soon tie and then surpass Brian Schneider's Nats single-season record for home runs by a catcher, 10. Desmond with a pop-up right side out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Just sitting up here thinking a little bit, Bob. Starting rotation held the opposition to roughly 3 runs through 5 or 6 innings. And if there was a situation when they gave up 4, 5, you could bank on the bullpen coming in those next 6 outs and shutting people down. Thus, you had a chance to win the ball game late because somebody was doing the job. Right now, your starting pitchers are giving up 4 early, and then the bullpen's giving up 1 or 2 late, and that combination is usually fatal.
Well, there's no doubt that the bullpen, when Clippard and Storen pitch, is a different bullpen than when the other guys pitch, who are usually in when the Nats are behind.
Yeah.
Now, in some cases, there's a 7th inning guy trying to get the ball to Clippard.
Yeah. And in all honesty, the job hasn't been done when the team's been behind over long stretches, I'm saying. Certainly, there are occasions when that 6th inning guy, 7th inning guy has done the job, but that's where a lot of ball games gets out of hand, when you're within a run or 2 and then you give up a couple more runs. We always call them scratch runs, you know. People scratch them out and you put a 1 spot on the scoreboard, and you might not think much about it at the time, but then 6 outs later somebody hits a 2-run home run and you say, my gosh.
Well, last night a perfect example of that. The Nats trailed 3-1, and then the bullpen, actually 4-1, and then the bullpen gave up a run in the 8th and 2 in the 9th. And that pretty much put the ball game away, so that even a 4-run 9th inning, the result was unreachable. Desmond waging a good battle here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He'll take the fastball outside.
Nationals have 6 hits, have 7 walks, 1 hit batter. There's a lot of folks out there on the bases.
Yeah, they've stranded 10. Ian Desmond's been a little more selective lately. Coming out of the All-Star break, he had 17 walks in 92 games. He has now walked 8 times since the break. 3-2 pitch. And that doesn't mean you can't be ripping. Well, 2 strike count because you can't afford to take any called 3rd strikes.
Yeah, what it tells me is that he is fighting off balls and spoiling pitches that are pitchers' pitches and working himself to either a pitch that he can hit or getting to a 3-2 count and working a walk because he's made enough contact to get there.
Last time we had an at-bat this long was Jason Worth last inning. Paid off in an RBI hit.
Well, these are kind of bats that make me light up when you fight pitches off and fight them off, and you just take so much out of a pitcher. People on deck get to see more pitchers, have an idea of how they're trying to work it.
Oh, Desmond on a pitch he thought was outside is going to be called out by Greg Gibson.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that pitch unless you just foul it off or nick it. It's going to be right in that left-handed corner quadrant.
That's perfect.
And it is perfect. And from a hitter's standpoint, when the ball is right at the bottom of the strike zone and right on the black, it looks too far from your eyes. It just feels so much like it's a foot outside, not a foot outside, 6 inches outside, an absolute ball. But the combination of being that far away from your eyes on the outside and down, if the pitchers could throw it there every time, there'd be a lot of quick ball games.
Wilson Ramos 0 for 2 with a walk today. 1 base hit in his last 23 ABs. Mujica with a breaking ball, misses upstairs, 2-0. Well, the Mets are trying to hold on at Cincinnati, top of the ninth, 9-8. 25 hits in that game with the Reds.
Boy, this guy must have late movement now. Counting Worse at bat, Desmond's at bat, this at bat. It's about 11 foul balls. Making a lot of fans happy. Making the purchasing agent sad because that's how much a ball, Bob? 6. Look at these foul balls.
Oh.
I don't know what a ball costs now. $6-7.
Well,
I remember reading
I'm
about,
pretty sure big league teams get a volume discount.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember Ted Turner in one of those stories was saying he'd sit there first row, and every time there was a foul ball hit, there goes $4. There goes $4. A billionaire.
Yeah. Some would say that's how he became a billionaire.
Yeah.
2-2. I think the last time I had such a conversation with our brilliant guy downstairs, Javier Castro, I think it's about $60-70 a dozen. Ramos gets jammed and flies it to left. That'll be easy for Logan Morrison to outsand Rick Ankiel. Pinch hitting now for Rodriguez. I'll have to ask our buddy downstairs, Mike Wallace, how many dozen baseballs they go through during a season. Well, this is why Jack McKeon had Mike Dunn warming up all that time, waiting for the Nats to go to a left-handed batter off their bench. So they'll get a scoreless inning, although Mujica did give up an RBI hit on a run charge to Badenhop. But he'll get them to the point of 2 outs in the 8th inning. Jack McKeon, he's managing every game like they are right in the pennant race. Degree afternoon. That looks like some good stuff there. Burgers sizzling on the grill. Not too late, huh? Long ball game. Randy Choate, actually. Mike Dunn sat down and Choate took over out there in the bullpen. And he'll take over here between the lines. 35-year-old lefty broke in with the Yankees back in 2000. 2 years with Tampa Bay, 146 games, and now he comes cross-state to the Marlins. And today makes his 48th appearance. 1.31 ERA, and Keel stays in. The only right-handed bat the Nats have in the dugout is Jesus Flores. Ball 2.
Another one of those sidewinders that drops that thing down somewhere around his belt buckle.
Two balls and one strike. Just outside.
Yeah, need to find a guy that can't find the plate and walk a couple of guys, and then let it happen. That sometimes is what gets you going base on balls. It doesn't always have to be balls ricocheting all over the outfield fences.
One thing that hurt today, the Nats were given 6 walks by the Florida starter.
Yep.
Infante over to Helms, and that's it for the Nationals in the 8th inning. 5-2, Fish. The ballpark. Colorful baseball art. 5-2. Marlins lead. Top of the 9th coming up. 13 hits in the game. And Tyler Clippard will get some badly needed work. Hasn't pitched since Friday at Dodger Stadium when he had his 25th hold of the year before Hairston hit the grand slam and then Storen finished up in a non-safe situation. Marlins have the top of their order due up in the 9th, and the suspense is over for the day on Emilio Bonifacio's hitting streak. RBI single back in the 6th, and he'll be the leadoff man against the Nats' outstanding all-star setup man. Emilio Bonifacio, a walk, a base hit, 1 for 3 RBI. Run scored today. Little slug bunt right over the screen for a strike. Marlins are ahead 5-2. Leo Nunez is not up and throwing in a possible save situation. Maybe it only takes him 2 batters to get ready. We shall see. Randy Choate doesn't have a save this year. And he'll serve one over the shortstop. Look at that.
He's getting it figured out now.
He doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes either, we've seen in this series.
Now that ball on the ground.
You see how quick Clipper turned around? He could not believe what he saw there. Omar Infante. The Marlins have this ballpark absolutely quiet. Trying to win here for the 24th time in 32 games. That ball hit hard to center. Bernardino right there to take a look at it for the out. Off the bat of Infante. Logan Morrison and Hanley Ramirez, the next 2 hitters. We talk about a pitcher who knows how much time he needs to get ready. Leo Nunez just popped up after the first out off of the bullpen bench. So it's going to take him 2 outs worth of time to get ready and then come in and take his 8 warm-up tosses. Bonifacio has stolen a base today. He's 5th in the league with 24 in 28 attempts, and he's stolen 2 in this series.
Yeah, that's bang bang right there.
Logan Morrison is 0 for 4 today. He hit that big home run here on Tuesday night, but he's 1 for 11 in the series. Long look by Clippard. Runner starts, stops, swing and a miss on a high fastball.
I'm paying a little attention out there to Nunez. He's thrown 6 pitches, Bobby. Threw 3 and then stood on the mound and just looked. You're right. We must need about 15 and that's it.
By the way, there's been a trade in baseball today. Interesting one.
We'll talk to him.
Cleveland Indians get Kosuke Fukudome from the Cubs for a couple of prospects, trying to jumpstart their offense. They're 2 games back of the Tigers, AL Central. That's a swing and a miss by Morrison on another pitch upstairs. Fukudome hitting .279 for the Cubs at the top of their order. 3 homers and just 13 RBIs in 87 games. Cubs are in Milwaukee, so he'll be heading to Cleveland. Clippard's done a good job of freezing Bonifacio with these long looks. And the umpire Greg Gibson screaming at Tyler Clippard.
That's ridiculous.
Who's trying to show up who here?
Well, I don't like. I wonder what Davey's doing right now. I mean, this pitch is right down there, right down, same place that they run Desmond out on.
That's exactly right.
But you don't yell at a young pitcher like that.
Well, umpires don't like to be shown up, but I guess it's okay to scream at a player when everybody in the ballpark can hear you.
Well, they're judge, jury, and everything now. I don't have respect for a man that yells at you like that. Walk out there and say, hey, kid, get back on the mound. You know, You just don't need to have a short fuse.
Well, let's see the next 2 pitches or so and see if he holds a grudge.
I have found that they generally don't.
With the runner going, a foul back.
I didn't even see what Clippard did. Did he say something, or
I don't know.
Just look in there?
I'd say that hitters have a shorter, or rather pitchers have a shorter lease on being unhappy about a pitch than hitters do. You know, hitters will complain. Boy, you stand on the mound and complain. Look out. Change up. Bonifacio running, another foul ball.
I never had an umpire yell at me unless I was yelling at them. As a manager, I didn't yell at him as a player. You got to be smart enough not to do that. But that was really demonstrative there. You could hear it all the way up here. And you also have to realize when you're an umpire, these guys are fighting for a job. They're so competitive. Every pitch means everything to them. Umpires call 250 pitches a game, and they're bearing down. But for a reliever coming in that's going to throw 12, 13 pitches, it's pretty hard not to say something when there's a pitch that's a strike. You know, I mean, where was it? Why can't you say, where was that pitch? You know, what was wrong with that pitch? Was it down? You know, I guarantee you, he didn't say a curse word or anything, or he'd have been thrown out. That's automatic. So, just think there should be a little leeway in letting a guy show a little emotion out there.
Yeah. Well, I think we saw the worst example of all last year in Houston, and the Nationals benefited from it.
Yeah, boy.
When Bill Hahn threw out Roy Oswalt.
Yeah.
You know, not exactly a rookie out there in his first rodeo. Pitches up. Throw is way late. Bonifacio falls off the bag, and he's out.
He gets a great jump here. Look there, going, looks in, almost started coasting right there halfway, like it was a hit and run. You don't hit and run with, well, there was only 1 out. You do hit and run with 1 out. I looked up there at the board and saw 2 outs.
And by the way, you do not get credit for a stolen base just because you get there safely. You fall off the bag, it is a caught stealing. Base is empty, 2 outs, and 3-2 now to Morrison. And Clippard will give up a little flare into right field. It'll knuckle its way into the grass out there. So 2 hits here in the 9th. And Clippard will face Hanley Ramirez.
I do a lot of reading about baseball and a lot of the things that happen, weird things. Don Hoke had a rule changed when a guy fouled a ball off and Hoke rounds third base and starts home, and he didn't go all the way back and touch the bag. This was in the 60s. So he goes back to third, gets about 4 or 5 feet off of third base, and the umpire tells him, what are you doing there? And he said, this is my lead, because there was nothing in the rule book that stated how big your lead could be from second base. There was nothing about going back and retouching the base. Everybody always had done it. But Don Hoke ended up called out, and he challenged it, and they ended up putting a rule in the book saying that you had to go back and retouch the bag, because he was actually rule book correct in not going back, because there was nothing that stated it in the rule book. So he was 2 steps from third after having rounded the bag, and he stayed there, and he challenged it, and they proved and overruled it, and they played the game from that point on as they held a protest up, but then they quickly.
And Ramos won't bother a throw as Dwayne Wise, who pinch runs for Logan Morrison, just swipes that bag on Tyler Clippard. Don Hoke, of course, an outstanding Pittsburgh Pirate who played on that infield with Dick Grote and Bill Mazeroski.
Tyler just so elongated to the plate with that big arm thrust, high leg kick.
For those of you who don't remember that Oswald incident last year, he threw a pitch off the plate. He was having some problems early in the ball game, and he got mad at himself for missing a pitch, and Bill Hahn challenged him from behind the plate, and Roy Oswald said, "I'm not talking to you." And Bill Hahn threw him out of the game.
Yeah.
Maybe the worst example of a quick trigger I've ever seen from a home plate umpire. Maybe Roy would have said, "I'm not allowed to talk to you." 2 balls and a strike. Hanley Ramirez 1 for 4 with a double today. I mean, it's hot out there. Umpires working hard, players working hard. And the best thing Clippard can do here is just go ahead and put a 0 on the board and walk to the dugout.
Well, highly competitive people want everything. You know, you want it. You want it to go your way. That's just how you're wired. It's not that you want to be argumentative, but you throw the ball, you think it's a strike. That man right there, he is certainly mellowed, but you wait till you see him get fired up. He tends to do it behind closed doors, though.
3-1 pitch, and Ramirez hits it high and out of play right side.
Tell you how Davey is. In 1985, I was battling for the third base job. They had acquired Howard Johnson, and my wife and I had to do a commercial down in Florida, so I always went to spring training 2 weeks early, and I ended up getting down there 5 days before everybody was supposed to report as an everyday player, but I was the last everyday player to get there. Davey calls me in the office and chews me out.
Because you were 5 days early.
I was 5 days early.
But everybody else beat you.
Instead of 2 weeks.
That's something.
He said, "I tell you, Ray, you're battling for a job. I don't believe you need to be showing down here late." And I said, "Davey, it's 5 days before I'm supposed to be here."
Hanley Ramirez strikes out. Tyler Clippard walks off the mound, gets a scoreless 9th inning, and the Nats are down by 3 with the top of the order coming up.
Update. Johnny Holiday and Phil Wood set to be along in a couple of moments with our Nets Extra postgame presented by WB Mason. This is a kind of the same rerun of the picture we saw last night, trailing as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, if they can do what they did last night and score that many runs, that'll give them the lead because they're only 3 runs down at this point in time, and you've got the top of the order coming up. So you've got the bats you want coming up in the 9th inning. Leo Nunez pitched last night for the Marlins, was not terribly sharp, gave up the long fly ball that Nix hit that was almost a game-tying home run. So let's wait and see what happens. But this is what you want coming up in your bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, Bob and Ray, we saw last night they trailed by, 5 and 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th and got to within 2. Let's see what they can do today. They're down by 3. Back to you guys.
All right, Johnny, a lot of key hits in that 9th inning last night. The Nats came up just short. Morris drove in a couple. And then the Nats on the Lance Nix fly ball that a lot of us thought, look at the fans, they thought it was out. So did we, but Mike Stanton knew better. By the way, Leo Nunez not in the game just yet. Jack McKeon's going to go lefty-lefty, leaving Randy Chodin to face Roger Bernardino. Then we'll see what he does with Espinosa, the switch hitter, and Wise is in left field after pinch running. But you know that Jack will probably have Nunez in by the time Ryan Zimmerman hits.
Oh, yeah.
Jack's not one of those guys who just automatically goes along with the crowd and brings in his closer for 3 outs no matter who's batting. He still likes the matchups, getting himself to that point.
Well, I think that's the right way to do it. You've got a left-handed hitter, a left-handed pitcher that hasn't had a lot of work lately, that's been very successful. You know, why always have to have a 3-out save? Let the man on the mound do the job that he is paid to do. And then if you want 1 out from your right-hander to come in and get the save, then do it.
Generous call, 2-2, and Bernardino was surprised.
We're going to see this pitch probably just on the outside part of the plate. Again, low enough and far enough away that to a hitter that gives just a little bit with his head, it's going to look away.
Bernardino with a check swing to stay alive.
I once had an umpire to tell me, and I asked him, Eddie Vargo, we were friends. You can become friends with umpires. You don't announce it that much, but you have the respect. A lot of times around third base, you have a conversation about golf, family, vacation. And I asked Ed Vargo, I kept balls away from me seemed to be, I thought they were balls. And as I walked up there, I said, give me a good idea of the outside strike zone, Eddie. And he just looked at me and winked. And I get in the batter's box, and the first pitch seemed to me to be 4 inches away. McKeon making the move, Bobby.
Here he comes.
And so I then said, that ball's outside, isn't it? He said, no, that ball is right there, Ray, right on the corner. And so from that point on, I realized that my head was moving off the ball, that both my eyes weren't seeing the ball. And I went right into hitting the ball very well as I knew the outside corner.
Here's Leo Nunez. Espinosa will bat left-handed, then Zimmerman. He's looking for the 2-out save. Nats are down by 3, 1 out, bases are empty, and now they'll go with their closer, Leo Nunez, for the final 2 outs. Espinosa and Zimmerman to face him. Danny Espinosa, career against Nunez, 0 for 3. Zimmerman 2 for 7 with a homer and 3 RBIs.
Another thing that Jack McKeon thinks about, Espinosa, left-handed hitter. If you leave the left-handed out there, face him, you turn him around right-handed. So brings Nunez in, give him a little bit of room, give him a little bit of feel for the mound before he faces a right-handed guys that are going to make the difference in whether this ball game is going to become tight or not.
Espinosa will swing and hack it back to the screen. And a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Espinosa with a fly ball to right. I'm looking at a little explanation online of a save situation, and it says the last pitcher to enter the game with a lead of 3 runs or less and pitches at least 1 full inning.
Okay.
By Leo Nunez not starting the 9th inning. According to this definition, he will not earn a save because he didn't come in with the tying run in the on-deck circle.
So no save today?
Looks like no save today, but they'll take it if he gets Ryan Zimmerman here. Ryan's had a big day. 3 for 4, a run scored, double, 2 singles. Using the ballpark, and that's a fastball that sizzles inside ball 1. 96 by Nunez, who's just as well known for his off-speed stuff as his fastball. He can get it up there. And he's playing hardball right now with a 3-run lead and 1 out to get.
He's coming off that mound with a push of a softball pitcher. See these girls throw that softball underhanded. They're about 10 inches off the plate, off the rubber by the time they deliver the ball.
Zimmerman trying to gear up for that fastball, a little bit late. Zimmerman fighting right down to the last swing. Out of play one more time. I'm looking through the schedule here, trying to find a time when the Nats have been swept in a home series this year, and I can't find it. This would be the first time all season long. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Zimmerman. And he lines one over the glove of Omar Infante. And Ryan Zimmerman has a 4-hit day, and he's now hitting .276. Certainly a bright spot, and that matches a career high that he's done on a number of occasions.
Well, he has 4, and the rest of the guys have 3.
Wow.
Jason Worth actually with 2, so he and Ryan with 6 of the 7 hits. The other hit coming from
Danny Espinosa. Yeah, that was a nice line drive of his out to center back in the 5th. Well, now that leadoff walk in the 8th and the run that followed is huge, because the Nats need one more runner now to get the tying run into the batter's box. And Morse goes to hacking. No balls, 2 strikes.
Michael's got that eye black scattered all over that uniform. Just left his eyes, and he's got it on his right shoulder, over his heart, his left sleeve, his right sleeve.
Bottom of the ninth inning, the Nats down to their final out. And Morse will take a fastball up and away.
98, Bob.
Wow. Morse out of play, right field side. It's what happens when you stay till the end of the game. By the way, the Mets won that game in Cincinnati 10-9. So they're on a bit of a roll, New York, when they come here tomorrow. Michael Moore strikes out. The game is over. The series is over. And the Marlins come in here and sweep the Nationals with a 5-2 win today. For Ray Knight and for Debbie Taylor, Bob Carpenter. Final score, Florida 5, Washington 2. Nats swept at home for the first time. We're with you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Mass in 2 HD. Jin Ming Wong and Dylan G. This has been a presentation of Masson and from the booth. So long for just a while.